Today's show is brought to you in part by Lisa Mattress. Lisa was founded with a simple goal to help people sleep better. Sleeping bad is bad. Sleeping good? Look, it's good. With an innovative direct-to-consumer online strategy, Lisa's mattresses are 100% American-made. They're challenging the traditional mattress industry. That's fascinating. Forbes even named it one of the top 20 startups to watch. Can't trust Forbes? Who can you trust? Well, look, I'm not going to talk about the veracity of Forbes here. See for yourself why everyone is raving about Lisa by trying it in your home 100 nights risk-free. Right now, you can get $75 off a Lisa mattress with the offer code BOMBCAST at leesa.com.
Hey, it is Tuesday, the 15th of August, 2017.
The Ides of August.
The Ides of August are upon us, whatever
That's
that
right.
means.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Can't be good.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey, good
Ben
morning.
Pack?
I'm
How are you?
good.
How are you, Jason A. Striker?
I'm doing pretty good.
How are you, Shifters?
I'm fantastic.
How are you, Brad?
I'm doing really good. Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, here we go.
Welcome to our podcast
Yeah.
where we talk about
Welcome.
video games
Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
and stuff.
Sure.
Ready.
Talk!
What's up?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Power Stone.
Power
There you
Stone
go.
Was fun.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a good pull.
I'm going to
was a good
say maybe not.
Okay.
Come on, that game is older than you are.
Yeah, but I played it. It's like one of the fighting game community's guilty pleasure. Like everyone in the fighting community loves Power Stone to an extent. Like
I've never heard anyone say that.
what?
Not out loud, anyway.
What?
Like they may have I don't know.
I mean,
don't
I feel
know.
like it's one of the things that people don't talk about a lot. But like, if somebody's like, "Hey, I got Power Stone in my room," everyone's like,
Oh yeah, I remember that
yeah.
game.
Like,
Yeah,
let's
I
go
really
play
love
Power
that game,
Stone.
and it lasts 5 minutes, and they're like,
All
okay,
right.
I remember this game.
Yeah.
all right.
And that's it.
Power Stone's all right. I like it. I like the second one a lot.
"All right, well, I'm out of video games, so
Okay.
you guys just
Are
take
those
it
the
from
only
here."
ones? No, I don't know. Like, honestly, though, there were so many people that like demanded a Power Stone 3 for so long. Like, it kind of became one of the. Yeah, that was always kind of my reaction to it. Was like, these games are okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
They're of their time. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And then
fixed camera stuff is weird.
they did that collection on PSP or whatever.
Yeah.
and-
It'd be nice to be able to download those games now, but you can only find that PSP collection, I believe,
Right.
online.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a re-release might make sense for those, I guess.
Yeah.
But
There's
even
that
then.
one PC game, and I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Uh,
Power Stone PC. That's what
I
I'm
want to
typing
be
into
the
Google right
guy.
now.
yeah. that's
Power
the one.
Stone, like okay.
Oh, you're talking about a game that is a
Yeah,
like,
it's-
bootleg
I think it's
Power
in,
Stone?
Super
So-
Smash Brothers, I think. is
Yeah,
the name
I
of it.
think that's the one you're thinking.
No,
of. Yeah.
that's for babies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to the deep mechanics of Power Stone.
All right, so there was Last Fight. I played that. We did a quick look of that, and then there's another one. I forgot what it
Final
was.
Fight,
That's the
No.
one.
the
Damn it.
sequel to Last
Yeah.
Fight.
All right, give me
Final
45
Fight
minutes.
Streetwise.
I thought-
I'll just blurt it out
I-
at some point.
I thought you said Fievel fight.
An American Tale.
And now I really want somebody to
Hagar
make
goes
that.
west.
Yeah.
They'll fight under the moon. Is that
Yeah.
under the same moon?
Yeah.
How's that song go? Sing it for me, Brad.
I don't know.
Damn it.
What
No.
song?
The one in Fievel goes west. No. American Tail. A
No,
whole
I don't
new
even-
moon.
That's the
No.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Part where it's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the stainless steel motion got me feeling so smooth. I
Yep.
don't remember the lyrics
That's the
to
one.
Rob Thomas and Carlos Santana's "Smooth," but I think about it a lot.
Ben, what the
I-
hell do you have against Steve Miller Band?
Look, I have nothing against Steve Miller Band itself as an entity. I just think
Itself or
"Abracadabra"
himself?
is the worst song that's ever fucking
Worst.
been recorded and is
What
popular.
What happened to you?
It like has a 2-minute jam at the end where it's just like
Yeah, it's great.
mystical sounds
That's
and
great.
the chorus of the song goes abracadabra.
Uh-huh.
I want to reach out and grab you.
Yep.
Abracadabra.
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 Right. Yeah, that's great.
But I don't know. It's got style. That's my counter to that, is that yes, the lyrics are dumb, but like lyrics are dumb a lot of the time.
Ben's dumb.
And
Hey, let's keep it friendly.
I think that song is catchy, but also I agree with you.
That's part of the reason why.
But the
I'm
worst
so
song?
mad about it is because it's catchy.
yeah.
You can't call it catchy song.
I don't think it's the worst song. I'll tell you. I'll say I think it's a bad song. I think it's a good song that I really don't like. And then the last 2 minutes, like that, yeah, the stuff at the end, I agree with you. It wears out its welcome in the first like 20, 25 seconds.
Somebody did a
first
cover.
first chorus. You're like, all right.
Less Than Jake or somebody did a remix
Oh,
of
good.
it, and,
no.
or not a remix, a cover of it, and it's somehow better.
You're kidding. There's a pop punk
Yeah.
remake of a song.
And
That's
it's better
unbelievable.
than the original. That's how bad the original is.
I would hold out for more of like a ska punk cover, honestly.
You want like Real Big Fish?
Is that
Yeah, like they did "Hungry Like the Wolf" like as a
Yeah.
swing song.
is that redundant? Ska punk.
No,
No.
it's
a little harder
distinct.
ska.
It's a little
Distinct
harder.
enough.
Like ska is its own thing,
Yeah, I
and then
guess so.
ska punk, and then pop punk,
Yeah,
and
okay.
you know that kind of stuff. All kind of came in the wake of that last wave of ska,
Sure.
which isn't even really pure. Anyway, yeah, no, I
It's
don't
like
know.
Streetlight Manifesto isn't really punk. They're just kind of like hard ska. But you got someone who like no effects is kind of in a weird like punk ska medium.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These horns?
Yeah,
A little
It's
bit.
less reliant on horns.
Yeah.
Horns
Okay.
are less punk.
It's like ska punk was definitely like less reliant on horns overall.
Fewer horns, more
Rhythmic guitar
more
and like
skateboards.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, no effects. I don't know.
Goldfinger.
Sure. The bands of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Right. Lagwagon.
I'm excited. This is going to be all you
Pennywise.
satellite radio fans out there.
I mean, all
Press
these,
one on your accompanied Giant Bomb
Yeah.
app to hear the songs
I
right
mean,
now
yeah.
that we're talking about.
No,
each and every one of these bands has their own satellite radio show now. Right?
yeah, I think
or,
so.
Or even
yeah.
station.
Yeah, Mark McGrath has his own radio show.
Oh, he
and-
actually does,
He actually
doesn't he?
does, and it's fucking like listening to him tell anecdotes about like, yeah, we toured with these band, we did, and my good friend. And you're just like, I don't want to do it myself because I think that would be wrong, but boy, it sure would be nice to hear you get beat up. And yeah, so that's not great. But also, this is the last week. If you're a satellite radio subscriber, this is the final week, I believe, of Guns N' Roses radio.
Wait, what?
Oh no!
Was
Yeah.
it intended to be a limited time thing,
Yeah.
or did it?
Yeah.
Not,
A lot of them-
or did
a
it
lot-
not
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
was like a limited. They turned the
summer engagement?
They turned the station that was most likely to play like a Tony Hawk's
Yeah.
Pro Skater soundtrack.
Yeah,
they
it
turned
was-
it into Guns N' Roses, and it's Guns N' Roses does not have the catalog to carry a station. I think we've said this before.
Yeah. What was it like?
Even if they like
four-
switch to their live stuff, it's
Yeah, they had live. They have live stuff.
4 albums and an EP, something like
Yeah,
that.
and like I'm gonna say wide swaths of those latter albums are not things you want to hear
I
ever.
don't know.
And
Some of the Use Your Illusion B sides are all right.
Yeah.
some.
Some, yes.
But anyway, so they play a bunch of songs that are like before they wrote their songs, they listened to these, and it's just like here's David Bowie.
Here's some Aerosmith.
Yeah. Also, yes, exactly. Here's some fucking Aerosmith.
Slash loves Aerosmith.
Okay, so the thing I've realized that actually you're connecting the dots for me on this in a way. The thing I realized like hard over the last like year or so of having fucking satellite radio. I think I'm gonna cancel it anyway. I fucking hate Aerosmith. Like holy shit, man! They are fucking terrible. Music is the weapon, and they should turn it on themselves.
One of the only good uses of Aerosmith ever was the beginning of Saints Row 3 or 4.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yes, ironic Aerosmith is not.
But it wasn't really ironic because like it was taking that from the movie,
Well, yeah,
right?
okay.
And like
Yeah, it was more of a reference
Sure.
to the film.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
that was an
film.
earnest use of Aerosmith. I give you that.
than any of that stuff. And I've just come to terms with like, man, there are Aerosmith again, like your feelings on Abracadabra. There are Aerosmith songs that I don't think are awful.
I like Dream On. Dream On's an okay song.
I think that like old Steven Tyler voice back before it got destroyed is like fascinating to hear.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that the non-Run DMC version of Walk This Way has like a tighter guitar riff that they should have sampled instead of replaying for that Run DMC version because it would sound cooler. But fuck Aerosmith. And also, now that you're saying, man, Slash loves Aerosmith,
But, Yes.
Yeah, the thing I've come to realize being exposed to a lot of Guns N' Roses because one of my presets turned into a Guns N' Roses station is I think I might actually really dislike Guns N' Roses.
I don't want to have this conversation.
I think I might
I can't get behind
like
that.
Your opinion is
they're
noted.
so overblown, and especially when you get into like their live cuts and stuff like that they're playing on the station, where you're just like, you pompous fucking arena rock fucks. Like it doesn't come across as like this ratty, scrappy fucking LA dirt ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, but think about what else was coming out
Appetite
of
sounded like.
Think about what else was coming out of LA at that point.
At that time.
Like
yeah.
it
was
like,
all glam
like
rock
the glam
and,
the glam had gone
Totally.
into like cliched overdrive.
and
at that point.
I will grant you that I think that Appetite for Destruction was like a great thing to happen at that time. And I think that some of those songs have merit. I'm not telling you that like that every single song is terrible. But when I'm taking the entire career of Guns N' Roses into account and stuff like that, I think a lot of it is bad.
All right.
I'd be willing to get on board with you, but I legitimately, and this is not a bit, cannot remember the differences between which song is an Aerosmith song and which song is a Guns N' Roses song in my head.
They're very different.
I know they're very different, and like I can kind of hear Steven Tyler's voice singing some of the songs that I think are Aerosmith songs, and the rest must be Guns N'
Which
Roses.
ones
but,
make you
like,
think of Alicia Silverstone? Because those are probably
definitely.
Aerosmith songs.
Yeah.
Let's go
Or Liv
listen to
Tyler.
Slash's Snake Pit while we're at it.
No.
See? Even you have your limits.
Oh, no,
so
yeah,
all I'm
because-
saying
no,
is
I
that my
mean-
line is a little bit further in than yours, and I think you could come with me.
No, I think they're the ultimate example of none of them separately being anywhere near what they all were together. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Individually, none of them really had it.
Yeah, but I think I want to say that by the time the User Illusions came out, I was all the way done. Even then,
I was on my way out at that.
and it was just like the excess, not necessarily like, oh, we're abusing ourselves or whatever, but like the musical.
Oh yeah,
excess
no,
and
I think looking back, it's fascinating to watch Axl Rose losing his mind in real time.
sure, yeah.
That's-
like I just look at it and go like, man, fuck all this.
He
This is-
swam with dolphins.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
what?
I mean, good on him.
Okay.
Like, why wouldn't you? If you had the means.
That's why
if
the
you- if
band
you
fell
were-
apart.
Yeah, if you
Because
were
the rest of
Axl.
them hated him.
Oh, and
I thought you were
He
gonna
didn't
say
wake
because of
them
the
up to
Dolphins.
go.
yeah, totally understandable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Guns N' Roses might be bad.
All right, noted.
Combat Core.
What?
That was the game.
Oh,
That I was
okay.
thinking of.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
you.
Good. Excellent.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like a Power Stone game. Combat Core.
Yeah.
What about that Guns N' Roses light gun game?
Revolution X.
Aerosmith.
That's Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
That's
See?
Aerosmith.
There we-
Oh
that's
God.
You're doing a bit.
No,
that
this
was
is
that was a joke.
because
tell.
the thing was I was born after I was like I was developing my musical taste after they had kind
Sure.
of ended,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it gets kind of
What is the earliest thing that you identify with?
Actually, so like I mean I was mostly listening to what my parents were listening to, which
Yeah,
is kind
yeah.
of classic rock and stuff.
Sure.
But my aunt got me for like my 9th birthday a Ramones best of collection.
Okay. Well, but that's so much older than you. I mean, like
Yeah.
something that was contemporary.
Oh, my first CD was Smash Mouth,
Okay. All
and my
right.
second
I feel like that's a good. That's a good.
Astroland.
Wait, was
That's a
that
good
like the
cultural-
first physical medium that you bought
That's
for
my
yourself?
first CD
I
that
think
I
that's
owned.
a good cultural marker for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. My second CD was the To Be a Master, which was the Pokemon
Okay, yeah,
soundtrack.
okay.
So there we go.
Who didn't have that?
I think my first cassette tape was either User Illusion 2 or
Oh man.
Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him.
Okay. All right. A winning two for
Both right around the same
yeah.
time.
See, if instead of Use Your Illusion 1, it was just Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him and Use Your Illusion 2,
Yeah.
maybe there would be merit to Guns N' Roses.
That's a good double album.
Yeah, I think so. My parents like had a bunch of music, and my dad liked the Rolling Stones and all this other stuff, but like they didn't listen to music around the house really. So my mom eventually kind of got into R&B, and just like she was listening to like Tupac for a while, or at least no, she bought the Tupac Seance tape that the morning radio station put out when they did a seance. What? I don't know. Anyway, we were both into Color Me Bad at the same time.
Okay.
I remember that much.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, so I the first tapes I ended up remembering kind of getting on my own was Weird Al in 3D.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Weird Al actually predated like
Yeah.
real music or whatever
Yeah,
for
same,
me. But I
same.
kind of
Sure,
put
yeah.
that in a different category because that's kind of comedy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah. And
Weird Al's awesome.
Yes.
I remember
and
buying
continues to be.
myself a copy of Running with Scissors and my friend a copy of Running with Scissors, and we listened to it on the phone with each other, and we're laughing about
Nice.
how funny the song Albuquerque was, which was that 12-minute story song that I still probably remember all the words to.
Wow. But it was that and Van Halen 1984.
Nice.
Okay. Those were
Yeah,
like the
that's
two.
good.
And then that led to me getting Van Halen 1 after that. Even though they had released a lot of albums in between that I don't much care for, honestly. But yeah, that was kind of it. And then like I was there when MTV started, so it was just kind of like I watched a lot of MTV and was exposed to a lot of music that way.
Yep.
And then my first CDs, that was in junior high when I finally got a CD player. So
Same. Yeah,
I bought
7th grade when
I bought Eazy-E's Easy Does It.
Okay. All right.
And
my first CD was the Wayne's World soundtrack.
okay.
Nice.
Well, all right.
I don't
That's a
remember
pretty
my
good
first
soundtrack.
CD.
Yeah, it's
I
not
remember my
bad.
first
Yeah.
LP. That was
Yeah.
Motley Crue. Girls, Girls, Girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
On vinyl.
Yeah, on
Man,
vinyl.
that's impressive.
I know.
I'd started buying records again at one point. Like I was buying
Oh,
tapes
really?
for a while, and then like realized that records were sometimes slightly cheaper, and you could record them to tape with it turned up a little louder,
Sure.
which we were convinced get a little more bass on this thing. So like I bought Straight Outta Compton on vinyl.
Nice.
I did the same thing. My mom worked for a concert promoter here in the city, and she has like a huge record collection with a bunch of weird stuff. And then I would she had a really advanced just deck with a record player, tape player, CD exchanger, tape to CD, record to CD, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I remember making a lot of CDs from the tapes, and I thought putting more bass in was good. I'm put all the knobs
you
to
were
the one
right.
side,
Turn everything
right.
up all the way.
and it makes it sound better.
Makes it better.
And then I was playing part of a CD for a friend, and he was just like, "What the fuck is wrong with your music?"
God, remember just straight up copying tapes?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like,
had
holy
a
shit,
big
I
old
completely
yellow
forgot.
fucking dual deck
Yeah.
tape boombox,
Yeah.
taping stuff off the radio.
And then they started finding
Yeah.
ways to stop it from working. I don't remember how that.
You would get a little bit of warble here
Yeah,
and there.
they
The,
would-
the same way like VHS tapes, like
Yeah.
macrovision protection and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Man.
I remember recording a mixtape for a girl. This is probably like 4th or 5th grade or something like that. And waiting on the fucking, listening to the radio, waiting
Yep,
for the song
yep.
to come on.
Waiting strategically, missing the first 2 seconds.
Yep.
Hitting, yeah. So-
Or keeping the first 2 seconds in where you've got the announcer
Or-
talking,
or
the
just,
DJ
yeah.
talking
Yep.
over it.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some of those.
good stuff.
yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Music's really crazy now.
Yeah.
Like I think I said something like the ability to just listen to whatever wherever is still like one of those take it for granted now things that
Yeah.
still seems really weird when you think about like weird shit like that of like listening to the radio period and
Right.
like the idea of like I feel dumb
Not having
for
everything on demand.
having satellite radio because it's like weirdly expensive
Yep.
and B it
I'm constantly flipping through stuff because there's 400 other channels that I could check out
Right.
or whatever.
I just
And
you park it on the
iPod
kids you
itis.
put it on the Kids Bop channel and just leave it there and you're gonna get the best
Usually,
music coming
yeah,
your way.
that's where I land. You
Yeah.
know, it's a good swath of stuff.
When they took the porn channel off the air, it was a way less interesting service. You could listen to truckers calling in jacket.
I'm sorry.
Literally, they
Wait,
had
what?
call-in shows that were the Playboy TV had a similar show called Night Calls that at least had a video component. But this is like you are listening to phone sex more or less, where the hosts are these.
I thought I
women
misheard you.
No, these are women who are have adult film careers. And I don't know if this is still on somewhere or whatever, but this was on satellite radio and it was also on the Playboy channel in video form.
Okay.
And yeah, literally people call in and are just like, I want you to put it in my butt. It's like saying whatever. And then
Classic.
the girls are just
Classic trucker
are like,
call-in.
yeah, dude, literally yes.
Oh.
And then these women being like, yeah, I'm putting it, yeah, I'm doing it to you hard. And then the guys finish on the phone, and you get to listen to that, and then someone else calls in, and it happens all over
Next.
again. It's fucking a fascinating fucking dark corner that it's
I don't want to be here anymore.
Keep an eye out on the Giant Bomb Presents feed.
yeah.
for-
We've got a new call-in show coming your way pretty soon. Here, we're pretty excited about. Anyway,
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going, I guess.
Kids Bop and that channel were actually not that far apart on the dial as well.
Is there a now that's what I call music channel, which is just like a normal radio station?
They actually pipe in some LA and New York radio stations onto
Oh, yeah.
satellite radio if you want that shit. And then also there's just straight up their like hits channel,
Yeah.
which has like the most fucking
Top 40 stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all super top 40, and then just like the biggest idiots they could find to talk into a microphone. Like literally just like, oh God.
As opposed to the giant bombcast.
That's right.
For geniuses talking about games.
That's right. Genius level discussion of video games and the world
Oh yeah.
around them.
Only the expertist of analysis.
That's right. That's what we're here to do.
yeah.
So butt stuff. What were we talking about?
Don't
Butt
even
stuff.
know.
Hang on.
I don't even know.
So Sonic Mania.
Yeah. Sure. Video games. Move
There
on.
we are.
Continue.
Can I
I've got-
say what you told me this morning?
Is that I called up the station and said, I want you to play Sonic Mania with me. Like, no, go ahead.
About Sonic Mania?
Go ahead, say it.
That you turned to me and said Sonic Mania might be a good video game?
Yeah, Sonic Mania, I think is probably a good.
Now I really don't know what's going on
Yeah.
in the world.
What year is it?
Yeah.
They made a really fascinating thing with Sonic Mania, and it's weird that it took this long to get to this point. Considering like the recipe, like when you look at Sonic Mania, they made a new old Sonic game, which you look at it and go, of course, yes, that's what the fans of this have kind of wanted for a long time.
Sure.
Like 15 years people have been asking for this.
And they've tried to make that.
Yeah, Sonic 4
Sonic
was
4 and
kind of
stuff.
that, and they've like what Sonic Colors had some side-scrolling stuff that was well received for what it was, but kind of a different thing. Like. But there's been this desire to kind of capture the magic of 16-bit Sonic that they have been completely unable or unwilling to do the right way all these years.
So their ultimate solution was to hand it off to somebody external to the
They
company.
handed it off to the fan community,
somebody
like,
who
people
could and would do it.
Some people, I want to say that some of the people affiliated with this game were making like Sonic fan games.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I mean-
that's like literally the backstory
Yeah.
to that Christian Whitehead.
Yeah,
guy,
and
who's
they
like-
brought in Christian Whitehead to do like ports of Sonic CD for phones,
Yeah.
some other stuff like that before, and this is kind of, him and some other people. Some people worked on like Luftrausers, some other stuff like that, doing art stuff, and bringing it together to make a 16:9 widescreen Sonic game that is like both. It's reverent to the old Sonics in a way that some people might think they don't deserve, but that's okay.
I might be one of those people.
But also like they remix and have fun with the material in a way that is very knowing. Like this comes across as a labor of love from people who really love those old Sonic games. And it plays well, it controls well, it feels tight, and yeah, I mean, it very directly references old Sonic. Like the game starts out with like Green Hill Zone, like the first level of Sonic.
Same music.
Yeah.
Like-
Presented like
Yeah.
and so the whole second zone is the chemical. It's like it's pulling from.
Also, I think same music. Like
So the thing that it does though
kind of remixed. Or
is
whatever.
that like you'll have these things broken into multiple levels. The first level will kind of, at least this is how it's been so far. Like now I'm in the movie style level, which is kind of a whole new thing, and so that's kind of where it's starting to make more of a departure. But the early game in Sonic Mania is like, okay, the first act of this zone is going to be a little more faithful musically. It's going to kind of adhere to some of the enemies and the styles and stuff that you kind of know.
Right.
It still is peppering in the stuff that Sonic Mania brings to it, but it feels more like a new old Sonic level.
Like
And
this
then-
is exactly for fans who are saying, just make a new Sonic game like the old one, like
Sure.
this first world. Is
And
just
then
like
the
that.
second act of the zone is where the music takes on
Okay,
an
yeah.
additional remix.
Yeah.
And there is more of a departure and a slightly more modernized take on like the Chemical Plant Zone or Green Hill Zone.
It's kind of subtle because now that you mention it, I noticed
Yeah.
that without really realizing I was noticing it.
and
Like,
it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Like seeing, because it almost feels like this before and after. Not that they're just like, they're pulling parts of levels whole cloth from original Sonic, at least in those first couple to two zones. And so you'll see things you recognize very directly. And, even as someone who's not like a huge Sonic fan, like this stuff, I go like, yes, that's how this zone worked. And oh, wait, hang on. Now they've got the weird fucking zip line from Sonic 3. Oh, they've got the bubble shield. Like you start to see other stuff from other Sonic games kind of dropped in. Even on those
fire shield and stuff
even
like
on
that,
those
yeah.
first acts in the zone, like they're not necessarily rigid to old Sonic.
Yeah. Plus the
which I think
default.
is smart.
Also, I mean, even the default mode has Tails.
Yeah.
Like in the level with
Well,
you
that's Sonic 2,
doing
you know?
stuff, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But that's kind of throwing him into the gameplay of Sonic 1.
Right.
I guess,
Yeah.
so it's-
So they're throwing it all together.
Yeah.
And then you fight a boss and get to that second, that second zone or that second act of the zone, and then they play with it even more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting to watch these people that, clearly have like a fucking deep reverence for Sonic, like their idea of what it is to play around with that stuff is really neat to see. Like, I still think like mechanically Sonic is like a little simple and like it's not, it's like a little dull in spots, I guess. Like that stuff has aged and that sort of stuff. I think that some of that is inherent to it, but it also feels like this is like the best that someone could have done. Like if you line them up and said like can you make me a game now that is like referencing 16-bit Sonic, like this is at least, I haven't finished the game, so but this is just, the boss fights, the references they throw in there, some of the wild turns it takes for some of those boss fights and stuff, like it is the best that I think that you could hope for. And maybe the game falls apart later. I think my one like really like big criticism of it is that there are too many of those fucking blue ball bonus stages.
Yeah, that's my least favorite thing
like
so far.
Every single checkpoint, it seems like you only need like 30 rings, maybe 20, like a low number of rings when you pass a checkpoint to get into these like Sonic 3 bonus stage things.
Are those from Sonic 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're from Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay.
Like if you took
Are those
Sonic
the,
and
like,
Knuckles,
3D.
It's
it's like the
version
globe
of
with the
tube
blue
and
balls and you
lower-
run around.
doing 90-degree turns
yeah,
to
and
pick up.
it
Yeah,
just
that's right.
like that stuff I don't think was ever especially fun, and they've tried to enhance it in a way to like make it a little more challenging.
Have you beaten one of those?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
do you get it? Are those just for Chaos Emeralds? Is that
No.
Or what do you get
So
out
the
of those?
Chaos Emeralds, there are big rings hidden in weird spots
Yeah.
that take you to a different
Yeah, I
bonus
found
stage
one of those.
that
It's
is-
like a race.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I beat
That's-
that and got the
I
emerald.
want to say it's almost like a Sonic R sort of thing or
Yeah,
something.
kinda.
But that's kind of neat because it's got this weird old polygonal look to it.
Yeah.
That is like kind of neat to see. Like they didn't just go like, oh, let's take full advantage of these modern systems.
Right.
They're like, no, let's make kind of a busted.
It looks almost like
Saturn
Saturn-like or something
Saturn,
like that.
PSX era kind
Yeah.
of Sonic, and that's kind of neat
Yeah.
to see too. Yeah, but you get coins out of those
is that
ball
it?
stages and then those coins unlock stuff
Okay. Okay.
out of game.
Got it.
I think is how that works. You can get perfects on them, you get a gold one. Otherwise, you get a silver.
Okay.
And they're metals or coins or whatever they are.
Just
Those
collection
are-
stuff like artwork, sound, or
Well, there
Well,
are
one of it
modes
is
to
like,
unlock.
yeah, you
Oh,
get
wow.
modes and like you get the fast run from Sonic CD.
oh, cool. Okay.
That unlocks.
Yeah.
Which is like a
Wait,
weird.
as a gameplay ability?
Yeah,
Weird.
yeah. Like a hold up and hit, like you hit
Oh,
down,
wow.
you hit
Yeah,
down
yeah,
to
yeah.
charge the
Yeah,
spin, but
yeah.
in Sonic, if you held up,
Okay.
you charged up a regular run.
Sure.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know that I'll ever like spend a lot of time playing as Knuckles because I still think that's like not that fun. And for me, Sonic 3 was the game that kind of took it downhill with the bubble shields and all the stuff. I felt like they just kind of got away from things, but I think that those items are at least like well implemented here. And yeah, the Studiopolis, I think, is the zone I'm on now. It's like the kind of movie themed one, but it has bumpers. It's basically like I don't know if the game has a casino zone later on, but it has bumpers and gadgets and stuff like a casino, like the casino levels did in prior.
Does it have
Sonic
flooding?
games.
Do you find yourself drowning?
I have been underwater. Certainly, I've had water raise up and had to jump out of it and stuff, and some neat mechanics around. Like injecting goo into the water to make it so you bounce off the water, like just some cool, weird stuff along the way. Like, yeah, they play with it in some really cool ways, and it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
When
you say it's as good as somebody could have done in remaking a Sonic game, like I think that's true, and I think that basically any flaws that I've seen in it are flaws that I think were always in Sonic
Yeah.
to begin with.
That-
like it
yeah.
exposes like what was good and bad about Sonic.
Yeah, that's
because
been my
it's such a faithful
I
recreation.
went back and played like in the hours I was waiting for this to unlock last night. I spent some time actually playing Sonic 2 and was like, oh yeah, this is kind of that. Like it's
Like,
it
I
was,
haven't-
it was a pretty seamless transition from playing
Right,
Sonic
so
2
does
to
it-
playing Sonic Mania.
Does it feel pretty much? Because
Yeah.
in my memory, it certainly feels. I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly how Sonic used to play. Like, I don't know if
to
the
me, it
physics
does.
and the
Yeah,
feel are exactly
there's
there.
additional things here and there in this game. Kind of like stuff you can do. And
The big thing for me is that I just like playing it now. I feel like I'm being pulled between. Okay, this is a guy who is literally named after something fast. Like the whole idea of this is to run through these levels as fast
Right.
as you can. But there's stuff everywhere. And like
it's a matter of like if you want to find that stuff or not. You
and
know?
the way you
that's-
like you slam into a rock, you lose. You know, like you just come to a halt, and then like he's got such slow momentum building the speed back up. You know, like it's this constant push pull of like
do the spin dash, man.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I constantly want to be running to the right, but at the same time, there's stuff everywhere that
yeah,
I don't know.
and plenty of spots in the levels where you need to run to the left.
Yeah.
It's deep.
I'm gonna ask you two things that are, paint my enjoyment of this game. Is Big the Cat in it?
Not that I've seen, but I'm going to say probably.
He was never in the Genesis
No,
game.
I know,
Yeah,
but he exists now, and ignoring him would be willfully ignorant.
He's the most important part of the Sonic-averse.
Okay.
I don't know if Sprite Big the Cat is something I can.
Ooh, but it's gonna be so good when he's in there.
That's true.
Does Shadow have his guns and his motorcycle, or just the motorcycle?
I have not seen Shadow at all.
What
either,
the
you know?
fuck?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I feel like these are leading questions in a way.
No, these are just the two strongest Sonic memories I have, because one of the only Sonic games I ever enjoyed, and granted I was an idiot, was the Shadow the Hedgehog GameCube game.
Yes,
I think
Shadow the Hedgehog came out on GameCube.
I was really sick, and I played it in 2 days.
Some might
sick
say
in the
you
head.
still are. I also played the GameCube version of Shadow the Hedgehog relatively recently. I played through
How's
the
that
first.
hold up?
I played through the first level of it while I was sick, and it came to mind like, Shadow the Hedgehog would be funny.
Interesting correlation here. I can't quite put my finger on it.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Okay.
It's fucking terrible.
Well, I mean, probably.
It's like they made a Sonic game and then added a lot more ways to slow down, and then
There's,
like
like, a lot of
teleporters that would let you
backtracking.
like warp to earlier parts in the level
Yeah,
and shit.
I remember
and,
there being a lot of backtracking.
and like all the combat seemed terrible. An amazingly bad game is my original impressions of it from what I remember back then. But then having just played the first level, hey, maybe it gets great later on.
I mean, you were sick. You can't properly judge a video game while you're not at 100% physically and mentally.
That's true. Yeah, everyone knows that.
You have to be like in peak condition to
Mhm.
review something. You got to like be kind of. I like to submerge myself in a sensory deprivation tank,
Mhm.
just so that way I can kind of internalize all my thoughts perfectly.
Float on your back
Yeah.
with a VR headset on.
And then every time you die, you do 40 reps.
Have you guys ever wanted to do that sensory deprivation?
Yeah, I would be interested in trying
I've gotten
that.
really close,
Yeah.
but then I think I'd get like too scared
Yeah,
in
maybe.
there.
Is it accessible, or are there like
There's facilities in the Bay
commercial?
Area.
Yeah, are there really?
Yeah.
I went into one of Microsoft's quiet rooms, where they were like, to test out, like they were showing it to us as a part of like, hey, we made the Kinect voice recognition way better, and this is the room we had to use to do it. It's a perfectly silent room that all the walls are built to absorb all sound. Like you're standing on a grate, like a a metal grate, because even below it is more acoustic stuff. They don't want a floor for sound to bounce off. And they also had a fake house built that they, if they could test it in a fake house setting, because everyone has a fake house. And they said that some people go crazy in that room because it's too quiet. Like if they are closed in there, they can, hear their heartbeat and like they become very.
I can see that.
Every noise your body makes becomes way more noticeable. And that people eventually kind of freak out. And
That would be a noisy room.
I
me.
stood in there for a while, and I could see why some people might lose it. I was like, this is cool, and it made me think about sensory deprivation. Where like, man, what if you go all the way on that? That might be kind of neat.
Does it require water? Is that a key part
think
of the
it's like a
experience? Like, you
goo.
need to be floating.
I think it's
Yeah.
not water. It's.
But I mean, you can't just be sitting on a floor, right?
Yeah.
They consider that.
yeah,
sensory
touch is
input.
like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Okay.
You need to kind of be floating in a thing.
You don't want your
and-
butt to get sore while you're sitting there the whole
Sure,
time, and you
yes.
start thinking about that.
But are they completely
I think it's
submerged
more like
you?
a saltwater type thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's like a really high density water. That's not a thing.
helps you float.
But yeah, it's like it's kind of it's more goo than water, or like very salt. And you're supposed to like take take a bath before, take a bath after. Some people in my college newspaper did it for a story, and I almost went with them, but I chickened out at the last minute, and I regret it.
So no idea how long Sonic Mania is, or like how weird it gets. Did you? I know you've seen it at like E3 events.
The stuff I had seen prior to release is all stuff from the earlier parts of the game.
I wonder if every zone is inspired by stuff from the original games, or if they start getting
the
super wild.
Studiopolis is the thing that is like way more new.
Okay,
in terms of
was that
enemies
not
and
from one of the latter?
I don't believe
games?
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are like bumpers in it that are very much from.
Yeah.
older Sonic.
And it's
for
got like
sure.
a level creation and stuff like that, right? I could've
I think
sworn.
that's the other one.
Yeah, the
Sonic-
you can
Oh,
make your own
that's-
hedgehog in the other
Okay, I must
the other
be-
Sonic the
must be
Hedgehog game.
completely- Huh. I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah.
I'm excited to check it out. The most Sonic I've played is when I got the Ultimate Genesis collection and went to go get every trophy in that game, and
Oh,
so I
right,
had to play
yeah.
a little bit of all the Sonic games.
Yeah.
How was the art
Uh,
on those trophies? Just out of curiosity.
They're
They're real good,
they're
right?
amazing.
Okay,
They're
good.
fantastic.
Drew would be happy to
Yeah.
hear you say that.
Yeah, it's interesting. But also like I think that there are some people that are going to take this like, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog is back, but also like I don't like they're still making that other polygonal Sonic game that is still one of those.
Yeah.
And I just wonder like now, okay, you did it. Great, awesome. The thing that like that seems like it should have been easy to do, but it was apparently deceptively like incredibly difficult, but someone finally fucking seemed to have nailed it. I don't think you can go back
Kill
to that.
Sonic.
Well, okay, yeah, all right, there you go.
Just end
Kill
it.
Sonic.
Like, hey, we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We
Wait,
did it.
do you mean literally put a gun to his head?
Yeah.
Well, probably not a gun, because if he has some rings in him, it just won't do
Two
anything.
guns, one for the rings. And
Yeah.
then you got to double
You
tap.
need two guns. Yeah.
So
I mean,
are
just phase it
Sonic
out.
super fans gonna like absolutely lose their mind on this shit and say, finally?
Sonic
Some
super
of
fans
the
have
fans
already
lost
lost
their
their
mind
mind.
years ago. It's not. Yeah, that's yeah. I wonder if some of them will be angry and like, oh, these people finally coming around
Yeah.
to Sonic. Like we've loved it all along. I don't.
Yeah, I
who
wonder.
knows? But also, like, do you make a sequel to this? Could you, or is this kind of does this only work once?
I bet.
I don't know.
If it sells well, they'll try doing another.
Yeah,
one.
I
They'll
could
yeah,
see, yeah.
sure, of course, yeah.
It seems like they've done a good enough job with this and understand
Yeah.
what makes Sonic work well enough that they could totally make an original game in this mold.
I think so. There's enough original stuff in this game that,
Yeah.
like, of course, like there's stuff with the music where parts of me wish it sounded a little bit more like the Genesis sound hardware than it does. But whatever.
Even stuff like that first Robotnik boss is it still Robotnik? Did they revert,
they
did
retconned
revert
it
to the
across the
Okay.
across the territories to Eggman.
Eggman
so,
everywhere now?
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that first big boss where he's in the big robot suit seems like something that probably the Genesis couldn't have handled.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like they're already kind of pushing
yeah.
the limits of what Sonic was.
Definitely. It's not like the game is not designed to like accurately reproduce a Genesis. It's
Right.
like there's way more frames of animation.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff looks really good.
Yeah, so they could theoretically go further with that stuff.
Yeah, I guess
in
you're right.
another
Yeah,
game.
Yeah. I just wonder, but also they've done the stunt of like pulling in levels from classic Sonic games and playing with them and stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it would have to be like whole cloth.
yeah,
new
then
material
you're suddenly
now,
making
right?
like an all new thing. Like
Yeah.
does that play
Yeah.
to a wider audience, or does that just then go back to like, well, if you're a Sonic super fan, then Sonic Mania 2 is for you, but everyone else got what they needed to out of the first one. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
They did the impossible.
I would like to see more of it. Like I played the first 5 levels or so.
It
and
sounds
was
like you
oh,
really
yeah.
enjoy the stuff that isn't necessarily just an homage to original Sonic. Like it seems like you like a lot of the stuff that
Yeah.
you do to modernize it, which makes me think that maybe this team could go on and make another Sonic
yeah.
game that is kind
yeah,
of more
the boss fights are inventive and stuff in ways that like are referential to how those boss fights always were, but they're doing stuff. It's neat. It's neat.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of stuff out this week. A lot of smaller
Yeah.
indie
Yeah.
games came out this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
is Matterfall any good?
I don't like Matterfall, as a matter of fact.
All right.
But
It's
Dan was playing it. He seemed to.
Dan seems to like it
Dan
quite a
seems
bit.
into it.
Housemark, it's a Housemark game. Like,
It
they're
is,
kind of
yeah.
putting stuff out rapid fire. Like Next Machina came out like 2 months
And then
ago?
Next Machina was something they put out themselves, and now this is another game with Sony.
Oh, this is a Sony published game,
publishing,
okay.
And
Okay.
I'm a little unfamiliar with Matterfall. Is it another like Housemark joint, like shooter?
It's a side scroller.
Side scroller,
It's a side scroller, and you can kind of burst in a direction, and when you do that boost, you'll go through bullets. And destroy the bullets all in the way. You'll also freeze enemies if you get near them as a part of it. So, and then the right stick shoots in any direction.
Okay.
So you're kind of boosting around to freeze stuff to get through obstacles. It's just kind of a lot of mechanics in a game that like doesn't seem to really. It feels like slightly more complicated than it should be, or something. Like so, there's all that stuff. where you're kind of boosting into guys to shoot them more easily because they stop moving and they take a little more damage when they're frozen. And then there's also you have like a matter gun that you can use to like you'll see outlined platforms and stuff that you could fill in with the matter gun.
Oh, weird.
And so those will fill in temporarily.
Only where it's like pre-designed for that to work.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so there'll be bullets coming at you, and you can fill in a platform and run under it to protect yourself from the bullets falling from above. And so there's when you get it down, like it can look like this really graceful thing of like, oh, I jumped and used the matter gun to fill in this platform before I landed on it, and then did this, shot these guys, boosted here. Like there is a flow to it, but it's cumbersome. Like I feel like the controls and having jump on the like they have to do it because it's a dual joystick game and you need to have both thumbs on the sticks. But like having like jump on R1 and boost on L1 and stuff like that, like the controls don't feel great to me. And along the way, you can find humans and rescue them, and that'll give you like
you don't say.
Yeah, right. And that will there's like one per level in this one, so it's like maybe the most minimal human rescue of any Housemarque game.
Like what a weird trope to carry across every. Well, I mean I guess that's like
rescuing humans is very hot right now. We need to be thinking more about it.
Sure, I can't disagree with you there. But that's like a Defender thing. That's like a super old arcade thing, right?
Yeah. But these are, they're frozen in matter, so you have to shoot them with the matter gun to free them, and then you'll get like perks that you take into the other additional levels. So like you can unlock more stuff and go back into earlier levels with like now I have grenades and stuff like that.
Is there any kind of like polarity or color based element to like I saw like a minute of this game being played at E3 and it almost looked like there was maybe some color matching of like different colored bullets and
not that I've seen. It's possible. I should say I did not play a ton of this game. So I'm pretty early on, but I found it really off putting. I don't know, like it's and also like other Housemarque games. It is particle crazy. Yeah. Everything blows up into voxel fucking really nightmares, and
I think
all
that looks great.
It's a really good look,
but I guess
until you're trying to pick out bullets coming at you
from
get
in the way.
all this shit.
Yeah,
and it makes the screen a little hard to read at times. I thought
Next Machina had a little bit of trouble with that. I thought they did a pretty good job of balancing colors, so you kind of didn't have to be looking at your guy all the time to still out of the corner of your eye dodge effectively. But it can get on top of itself.
Yeah, I think Matterfall has some neat ideas in it, but I don't really like the way it feels very much. So that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah.
What else? You're right. There's a ton of stuff coming out. Tokyo 42 is coming to console.
$20 game. It came out on Xbox months ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So it's just PS4 this week?
It was Steam and Xbox at launch.
Oh, okay.
And
all right.
PS4 was like this week.
That's a neat game. I played some of it back when it came out on PC and ended up not really sticking with it that much. There was something about like it feels like you spend too much time rotating the map so you can see. Like it's a little too much work. It's an isometric game, kind of, movement on the keyboard and mouse to move your aiming reticle and stuff in this isometric view. And it would work very well as a dual stick game as well, I think. And yeah, it just felt like I had to constantly babysit the camera perspective because you're always running behind walls. Like it's part of that game's aesthetic for sure. But it's just that and kind of aiming these long range sniper shots and stuff. It just felt like more like view management than I wanted out of a game. But I love the look, and it's when you're kind of in basic combat, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
But some of that stuff kind of stumbles along the way, I think. What else? Agents of Mayhem is out this week.
Yeah.
Dan's playing that out east. They're gonna handle that one.
He seems to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like reaction to that's been pretty mixed.
Yeah. I think the reviews seem a little stronger than I was expecting.
Yeah.
From the little bit we'd seen.
I feel like every time I see the examples of the writing in that game or like the attitude in that game, it looks super dumb.
Yeah. And I think that's what
I mean, Dan said, the humor's not doing it for me, but I like playing it, so that's kind of a
I don't know. Like
it's like maybe passive. It's kind of a passive indictment of a Volition or a Saints Row style game to some degree.
I think it's Saints Row the Third was kind of a magical moment in time where I think they were writing a style of humor that very much worked right then and there.
Yeah.
And also, I bet if you went back to Saints Row the Third right now, it wouldn't work. These days,
I could see
not
that.
as well.
I mean, because they did more of it with 4, and like that one didn't seem to connect with as many people.
Yeah. 4, Yeah, I mean, 4 was like they went back to the well a lot on that game.
It had its moments.
Yeah,
like, all the romance stuff
4
was
quite a
super
bit.
funny to me. That you
All
could
the-
just
the
the romance options where you just walk up and
there was
X.
some really fantastic stuff in that game, and I like the superpowers. It was fun to play.
Yeah, it was fun to play. But then it kind of left you going like, okay, they kind of can't make another one of these,
right?
Which they kind of acknowledge at the end, because it ends with them going back
Right.
in time to meet up with like Jane Eyre or something, or like
and then they made that Gat out of Hell thing, which like at some point I feel like, and maybe I'm just wrong, maybe like people have an affinity, but I just like Johnny Gat's fucking lame. Always kind of was. Like kind of the worst part, like the nicest thing you say about the Johnny Gat character is like, oh, he's like this over the top murder junkie, but you're the boss, you're the character that matters. You've got, you know, like Johnny Gat's a side character, and there are other more interesting side characters here. But then
like
they
Cool
would,
Shandy.
yes. But then they would kind of keep bringing, you know, Johnny Gat back and trying to make a big deal about like, oh, Johnny Gat's here, and you're like, that's not. Like,
when they started
fucking lame.
when they started having him doing like guest appearances in other games, like the fact that he's in Agents of Mayhem, it's like,
putting that character in Agents of Mayhem to me was
like,
like the ultimate, just like
just put him in Mortal Kombat
maybe.
so you can finally have Johnny Cage versus Johnny Gat.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, right, he's in
Dive Kick.
Dive Kick also.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. Johnny Gat just shows up anywhere.
Yeah. And
It's not hard to book. Yeah.
He was, the voice actor was for a little while there, but
well, he's not on Hawaii 5-0 anymore.
Right.
So
yeah,
he's got time.
Yeah. I don't know. Agents of Mayhem, I have not seen since we first saw it when they announced it.
I haven't either. I'm more curious about it than I was seeing reviews being somewhat positive.
Because I feel like when you and I went to play it, I think I came away from it going like, this is a really neat, really early look at a game.
Yeah.
It'll probably a fun co-op game.
Right.
And then they were like, oh, it doesn't have co-op.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I can just switch between 3 characters on the fly for why now?
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
But it's not
like there's so many games out right now. Like it's not really top of my priority list.
Sure.
Did you play the game that matters most?
Sonic Mania? Yeah, I did. No.
The fucking Night Trap.
Yeah.
Oh, I have not played. I have
came
not
out
played
last
Night Trap.
night.
You're right. That did sneak out last night.
Big week for remastered
Right.
games.
Totally. Yeah. I haven't seen it either.
I'm gonna when we're done here, I'm gonna go pick up a copy of Night Trap
go immediately to play Night Trap
and check it out. Night Trap's
special.
Yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah.
It's a bad video game. It's a magical thing.
It's a landmark moment in history.
Yeah, Mr. Mustache from the Scat Team pulling the cord out of your Genesis. Yeah, the Scat Team. Deal with that. Trucker's calling in. And then this dude, Joey Silvera looking motherfucker, pulling the cable out of your Genesis controller. It's like, you let that girl die! Is some of the most amazing overacting in FMV history, I think. Yeah. And of course, Data Plato. Rest in peace. Like magical performance out of her. And the song. Yeah, I want to see how that thing looks, because I imagine they went back and redigitized all that video to not look shitty.
One would hope.
I watched a trailer of it and I was like, oh, huh. But that was when they announced it. I kind of lost track of it. They did physical copies of that.
Yeah.
They're sold out in like under a minute or something, because
Sure.
people were out of their minds.
Yes.
Night Trap's a bad video game, and I love it.
Mm.
And
It's like Shadow the Hedgehog for the Nintendo GameCube.
Shadow the Hedgehog, I might say, is unlovable. Because he doesn't want to be loved. He's too
That's
dark.
True. He's
Yeah.
broody.
Yeah.
Night Trap, one of the very few games to appear before a congressional committee.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah.
it's got that going for
It's
it.
important.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's very important.
It's a capital
it's a piece
V
of history.
video game.
What's the video game equivalent of film? Because video
You mean
games
as
is
a
two
medium?
movies,
Oh,
as
sure.
blank is two films.
like ludic narrative. I don't know.
Because we don't have a word for like
Interactive
You
entertainment.
mean like high art?
fancy video game, basically.
Tacoma in stores now.
Yes.
No, interactive entertainment, right? Wouldn't that be the kind of the
Yes.
Yeah, like graphic novel, interactive
Yeah.
entertainment.
right?
It needs something catchier. Think about it.
Catchier
Email
slash-
us your
Yeah.
Slash
solution
snootier or
Send,
what?
send us out your ideas for
for like what we should call
highfalutin
kind
kind of descriptor.
when you want to be a
for,
snob about a game.
Yes, for high art in video games.
Yeah.
How's StarCraft?
Yeah, I was just about to say, speaking of
remasters,
redigitized old-ass video from the 90s.
And important video games.
And, and Congressional Committee now. I played a fair amount of the Starcraft Remastered, which is
They felt the Zerg Rush was illegal, and they had to review it. Joe Lieberman.
I mean, there is actually... I didn't read the story, so I should probably not bring it up because I barely know what it's about, but I saw something about, like, some factions in Korea are accusing Blizzard of like antitrust issues over StarCraft right now.
I wonder if it's like specifically they're trying to force. I mean, let's speculate about a story that neither of us read here for a minute.
Past the headline,
and I'm gonna say my guess is that it's a bunch of net cafes that are kind of being coerced into upgrading to this very more locked down version of StarCraft than the original.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how locked down it is. Okay, so this thing is weird because. So they put out a free version of Brood War a few months ago, you might remember. And that thing plays with this thing. Like, you can get that and match against or play multiplayer against people that have this thing. It's kind of a graphical skin for that.
Yeah.
It's not a full-on... I was kind of expecting a full remake from the ground up, and graphically it is. But they didn't do any achievements. It's not tied into like the modern Blizzard backend in a way that I was expecting.
I figured that the whole reason for doing this was to like
that's
hook
what
it
I
all
thought.
the way into BattleNet.
That's what I thought, but it may be to some extent. But like I said, it plays with that old original client. So under the hood, for the most part, it is still original Brood War.
Yeah, looks nice.
It looks really good. I would say actually the best way to think of this is that it's basically the Master Chief Collection, because I didn't expect that they were going to have the hit a button to go back to old graphics, but they totally do.
Yeah,
like it's running original StarCraft under the hood. It just goes out to widescreen, like it's super high res. Like I guess the assets are 4K.
Okay.
If you have a 4K monitor, it will do native that.
I was watching Day 9 stream a bunch of it yesterday. Did like a 24-hour stream.
Yeah, they're doing. I think that's like going today too. Yeah, like it's cool. They got like all the kind of big names of competitive StarCraft together to do like a 2-day stream for this thing.
They were freaking out over like being able to clearly make out the details in a Hydralisk's tail.
Yeah,
like that level. Like it makes me, I didn't put too much time into the original StarCraft, but like. To have a game that you spend so much of your life into, and then it's all of a sudden like it's back. It looks amazing now. Like I can imagine it being pretty mind blowing.
I had a similar experience, and like this game is like for me and like broadly one of the most influential games of all time, right? So it's crazy to go back to it, but like so you can zoom in. It's got like the more modern 3D Blizzard RTSs let you kind of zoom in and out. Yeah, it's got that now, like because the assets are so high res, you can go way in. I was playing some of those early missions on the Marcera colony, like that first colony that gets overrun by the Zerg. Yeah. Basically, if you go look at the old graphics, there's a bunch of like storefronts and shit. Like it's just like weapon stores and like grocery marts or whatever in that colony. And they're so low res, you can't they don't say anything. Like it's just this obvious neon sign that's illegible. And then you go to the new graphics and zoom all the way in, and they had to like decide what all those things said. Yeah. Or maybe they knew back then and you just couldn't tell. But
I wonder.
Like there's so much detail in just little shit like that around the edges that it's really cool to see them have dressed that stuff up.
And this is like, so what when they released Brood War, was it free?
No, it wasn't paid expansion.
Okay,
it was like 30.
No, 20. Not originally, but I mean this re-release when they put out
like a few months ago. Yeah. They made it free.
Okay, and is this then free or
no? This is $15.
Okay.
But again, it's just graphics. Like you're not getting any. There's no gameplay that you wouldn't be able to get with that free client.
Okay.
No achievements, no nothing. Yeah. Which is like, I mean, it's $15. I guess I can't.
It'd be nice to see them like fully integrated into the Blizzard
because they've done such a good job with achievement design in their RTSs in particular. Like a lot of those StarCraft 2 achievements are super fun to try to get because they're really tricky and specific.
They might not
hoping for a lot of that stuff, but
maybe they don't want to try and pull away StarCraft 2 players.
For this $15 thing that's like a,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my assumption is basically what you said, that like Brood War's getting big again. Yeah. StarCraft 2 maybe...
Yeah, maybe
a little flat.
That's probably also...
Like they just wanted a nice thing they could charge for as interest is on the rise in StarCraft again.
It was really cool watching that stream now. Like I had watched... I remember staying up till like midnight to watch a Korean StarCraft tournament when I was younger. But... being able to watch StarCraft now, being able to watch like the original esport or whatever, now with an understanding of like what makes competitive gaming interesting, what makes like observation, like from watching so much Dota and to a lesser extent fighting games, like being able to follow it now is a lot easier. Even though I haven't played any more StarCraft, like I'm more of a fan of competitive games and can more easily track what's going on. Like I know what to watch out for on the screen because I can follow the caster, you know. So it was really cool, and it made me like want to go back and watch old StarCraft matches.
I wonder how well that stuff holds up, because I imagine a big part of that is that the commentators have probably gotten a lot better at calling video games than maybe they were then.
Yeah, that's probably true. Although this is a little more of just like Day 9 and a couple of his friends like goofing off,
right.
But they were still like taking moments to be very instructive. And I mean, the dude just came off of hosting the international
so he's
a couple days
still
ago.
Kind of
so
in that mindset.
Did you notice how I may have only been once or twice, but I noticed Day 9 conspicuously mentioned StarCraft during the international a couple times.
I mean, that's like his bread and butter.
I know.
Right?
Well, that's where he came up. Like obviously Dota is huge, and he's moved on to that to a large extent. But like, I'm sure StarCraft still lives in his heart.
Yeah. I bet you. Yeah, that'll never change.
Also, that game's kind of hard to go back to.
I'm sure.
At the end of the day,
it's
like all the interface improvements they've made over time. Like they changed nothing about this. Like I think maybe the only new thing is there's an APM counter now.
Great.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, terrific. That's what I'm looking for.
But like you're still limited to 12 units in a control group. You can't. I mean, whatever. A lot of this stuff is very esoteric for people who don't care about RTSs. But like you can't multi-select buildings and hotkey them.
Right.
So I can't like select all my barracks and just hit keys to generate units. Like that micro aspect of having to constantly go back to your base to move workers around and keep making units and stuff. Like that's key to that competitive scene, right?
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the big criticism about StarCraft 2 when it became a big esport, was like, oh, they automate so much of the
the
economy and
everything
and the micro.
Just punch a bunch of buttons. Never have to go back to your base.
Being able to manage all that stuff all at once was considered like a big part of the skill set.
At the fucking low ass level of StarCraft that I ever got up to, like that was that's how I. Anything more than that would have been too much for me to fucking handle.
Like now, even for me, it's like I played a ton of StarCraft back in 1998.
Yeah,
and it's even really a lot to go back to for me. Like it's kind of tough.
I always think about
very fiddly.
I always think about going back and playing like the campaigns of games like Command and Conquer or Red Alert or Dune 2 or StarCraft and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I never quite get there. Like I'll install like Total Annihilation and start playing it and get like a couple missions in, or play it a couple times. You're like, yeah, cool, and then just fall away from it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. It's hard for any of those games to stick the way that they used to. I used to be so obsessed with like fucking Warcraft 2. I played so fucking much Warcraft 2.
Yep.
But I would usually just play the campaign or skirmish against the AI. Like I didn't have people to play against.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Oh man, I had one friend in town, and we both had modems, and we just every night playing Warcraft.
I would try here and there, but it just my friend wasn't really that into it, and the modem speed was such a shit show. It was just hard to do.
Oh man, there was something fucking primal about just placing a local phone call to somebody else in your town and playing Warcraft 2 over the phone line.
Yeah,
I remember being at my cousin's house, and he said, "Hey, come check this out." And I walked over, and he was playing Warcraft 2, and he killed a sheep, and it made me really sad because I was like, a child, and I was like, I don't like Warcraft at all.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, Warcraft 3 came out, and I was like, okay, that's good.
It's been fun going back to that campaign. I got a few missions into the Terran stuff, and like,
the origins of Jimmy Raynor.
It's literally that. It is literally that. It's literally how you meet Raynor, and then because you are a character in the story, you're like the magistrate or whatever, But like, you meet Jimmy Raynor, and then it's how he got mixed up with Minsk, the Sons of Korhal,
right?
And like,
Minsk.
It's been so long, because like that dude is the evil emperor that ruins fucking everything in StarCraft 2. But at this point, he's just like a freedom fighter / like terrorist organizer,
right?
And it's cool to see. It's cool to see those origins.
You start to get
I just got past
Kerrigan.
I just got past the mission where you meet Kerrigan for the first time. Like all that stuff is really fun to go back to.
Ghost.
Now they just need to put out StarCraft Ghost.
Yep. Close the loop.
Yep. Get it done.
Yeah, that thing's $15. Like it looks great, but it's pretty no frills other than the visuals. There's really not much else there. So
it's cool that they made it.
But yeah, it is cool that it exists. What you been playing, Ben?
I mean, I spent most of the weekend in a deep Dota hole.
Yeah.
But you got out.
Yeah.
Well,
no one ever truly gets out once they're in that deep.
You changed for sure.
Actually,
I don't
know if I would say it was most of the weekend. It was by far the shortest TI finals in history.
Yeah. So I mean, the international concluded on Saturday. It was the first time it was a sweep. It was the first time 3-0 ever. And that's not to say it wasn't entertaining, because
no.
a lot of times, a sweep is just like one team blows the other team out of the water.
It was a series of close matches.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were pretty.
Game 2 was very close.
That's true.
Game 3 was kind of close. Like it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And it was never like one team was just completely fucking up or one team was just super strong. It was always like incremental wins that eventually led to an advantage.
I mean, it was most entertaining for me because the team that won TI was probably the team that everybody least expected to win. Well, that's not 100% true.
Going in, they were one of the favorites, but they lost really quick.
That's what it was. That's what I mean. Like, they were favored before the whole thing started.
So they had to fight back from losers.
They had to fight back up through losers and like
at one point. So Team Liquid won. They're a collection of European players from like Bulgaria, Germany. Jordan, Ukraine, like all five different countries. At one point, they were the only non-Chinese team out of 5 teams. So it pretty much looked like China was going to dominate, which they classically have done every other international. Every even-numbered TI, China has won in like completely convincing,
just dominating
fashion. But
do you think that that's a result of, I mean, why do you think that is? Do you think that the game gets balanced in such a way that like they are like that maybe they're on some kind of pendulum where they balance in one direction that ends up benefiting Chinese Dota?
Yes.
That style of play, and that they eventually try to work their way back from that but go a little bit too far in a way that benefits the non-Chinese teams?
To a degree.
Style of play?
Yeah. So I mean, classically, like before maybe a year ago, Chinese Dota was kind of always signified as this 4 Protect 1, you get one dude on your team to be super strong and just spend the whole game like getting that one guy super duper strong. Everyone else make sure he's fine and gets space.
Until he's unstoppable.
And then like 70 minutes into the game, that one dude just rolls into the base and kills everyone on the other team. Last year, though, the team that won Wings was a Chinese team, but they were unlike any other team before. They played like a million different heroes.
They were so crazy.
And they were just like totally unpredictable.
Weird drafts, like weird synergy between heroes that people weren't expecting. And
so from that point, a lot of Chinese team kind of took that as a signifier of the way they should move. And then also the map changed and stuff. Like it became a lot harder to do that 4 Protect 1 style of Dota just in general. But this year, kind of the thing that the Chinese teams couldn't deal with were effective split pushers, which were like people causing mayhem all over the map. Like, a lot of times Liquid was running a hero named Nature Prophet who can like effectively teleport around the map and just push towers and stuff. And they were doing it really well and just making a lot of space and stuff. The thing that Liquid did so well was just like adapting. They really switched up their style a lot. I mean, they had a core set of heroes that they liked to pick, but they seemed like even in the middle of the tournament, they were kind of learning new things about these other teams and their own strengths and stuff. And they were able to pretty much quickly adapt and beat a team that a lot of people considered to be like unbeatable, which was Newbie in the grand finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. They announced 2 new heroes.
I saw that. Did they give them names or anything like that?
I think so. I kind of didn't pay super close attention to that stuff because they didn't show off any of their like abilities or anything. One of the 2 heroes was kind of already leaked. Some people found some stuff in data files like a couple months ago or a month ago.
One of them is a fairy forest nymph. Like it sounds like her name might be Sylph or Sylphid.
Kind of like a puck
from data mining.
Like the
other guy is like a fencing mouse,
a musketeer.
Yeah, he is like literally this sort of D'Artagnan type French accent mouse.
One thing that's important.
I thought it was a cat. I wasn't.
I think it's a cat.
It's a pangolin.
Oh, what?
Pangolin? It's like the not armadillo.
Okay,
sure.
Pangolian
and Knuckles. Yeah.
A pangolion.
Yeah, it's a pangolion.
Yeah.
They show him at one point cutting off all of Bristleback's bristles, so people think he might have like a break ability, like a shadow or a silver edge.
Like a silver edge. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Huh.
How often do they announce new characters?
Not often,
okay.
and I think there was some statement or comment from them before TI that they wish they had done a better job about that. Like it's been a year since they announced a new hero.
Wow.
They announced. When did they announce Underlord? Was it the international before that?
Underlord and Monkey King were both last year.
So yeah, they've announced 2 heroes for the last 2 TIs.
And are these characters like they're done pulling characters from Dota 1?
Underlord was the last Dota 1 character last year, and then Monkey King was the first new from the ground up, and then these are the next 2 new ones. But like I saw some people seem kind of not thrilled with the sort of cartoony style of these guys.
Yeah,
which immediately makes me think they're like trying to shift.
You can make them look serious with the right hat.
Sure.
Yes, that's for sure. Buy the serious hat.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder if they're trying to go in a more League-like direction with the art design or something. But.
Yeah, I mean, like there's already some goofy ass people quickly forget like Ogre Magi or fucking.
Well, up until now, 100% of the Dota characters are just Warcraft 3 characters.
Exactly,
it's all. Like that's why there's an item called cheese in Dota, because like there was an asset for cheese in Warcraft 3 and they used it.
And like that's why the Venomancer is like a Hydralisk,
right?
Because he was an actual.
There was a secret Hydralisk model in the Warcraft engine.
Yeah. And honestly, like go for it, Valve.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Get some of those League people interested, because that's the thing is I saw a lot of people this year, more than any other year. I saw a lot of people this year saying like, this is maybe a time I'm going to start checking out Dota. So I think Valve is doing a good job of trying to actually get new players in, and that only works to a point. At some point, it's going to be like, how do we get League players to start playing Dota?
Yeah,
like not people who have no idea about MOBAs.
We got to get the idea of like getting a new player. Well, I mean, surely it happens, but the idea of someone waking up to tomorrow and going like, I'm going to try this Dota thing, and then like getting incredibly serious about it like seems insane.
It happens, but those people are going to have a really rough time.
Right.
But I mean, TI is kind of the
totally.
And especially like,
a lot of excitement around it. Like,
this year they had the newcomer stream, which was super helpful. That's what we ran. So we ran a chat room over the weekend. Watching it, it was basically the same as the normal stream, but with like pop-up video things of like, here's something about this hero, and
this game is called Dota.
It used to stand for something, but legally it does not anymore.
You could call it D2 if you wanted to make an abbreviation of it.
No, that's another Blizzard thing. You can't do
damn
that either. And Day 9 hosting was a lot more like new player friendly, because he personally didn't know a lot about Dota, and I think that was an advantage as a host with his panel, because he was asking them a lot of questions that he genuinely didn't know the answer about, like, what makes this draft strong, or what makes this hero worth banning against this team. And there was people on the panel like Merlini and PBD who were
a lot of getting a lot of former TI champions on that panel, which was nice.
Yeah, they even like ended up bringing in like Arteezy and Sumail.
Like Ake was on there.
Yeah, just a lot of people who get eliminated early end up on the panel.
Don't have much else to do.
Like, hey, you're here. Come on. Sober up long enough to come talk.
Exactly. The All-Star match was pretty entertaining too.
Yeah, they
was, like,
played it straight this
goofy.
year.
Yeah,
it's been like increasingly wacky the last.
Well,
few
because
years,
it had $100,000.
Yes, there was a cash prize this
year.
That'll
do it.
So they tried to play for
but
real.
Seeing like Miracle play Wisp, trying to play like a carry Wisp.
But like, so I don't know if either of you know enough about League to actually answer this question. But like, do you think that there's actually a viable path for? Like, is that a sensible thing for Valve to do, to try to take people from League? I mean, obviously they're in the same ballpark, so they're kind of there. But like, when I hear Dota people talk about League and the way they look down their nose at League, and I'm sure the League players are
because
definitely
it's
like
clinically
vice versa.
worse in every way is the reason.
But that's my understanding, is that League is just a bad game and Dota's a good one. That's what I've been told.
I mean, whatever. League's not a bad game, but I think it is demonstrably more simplistic.
But
like,
isn't
I don't
it
think
also
nobody could argue that there's like a deeper meta in
Isn't
League.
it also way fucking bigger?
Yeah.
Why?
Usually
because
it's more accessible.
More easily available. It's funny. I loaded up a video that was like top international moments of the year, and the pre-roll ad was for League, and the ad itself was like, "What is League of Legends, and why do me and my girlfriend play it so much?" Blah blah. League of Legends is a MOBA, which means blah blah blah. And I'm just like, oh, they're totally going for the angle of like, hey, play this game with your girlfriend. Like, because League does have a fairly large female audience. Personally, anecdotally speaking, I know a lot of women who play League and love it. And so like they're trying to kind of leaning into that. So if Riot is trying to dip into the Dota audience, then it makes sense for
sure. Yeah.
Valve to try and
that's the thing. I think I think the same of League, like the idea of someone waking up tomorrow
and trying to sink their teeth into this incredibly robust, like mature game with, communities that, they built all the tools. Like obviously Riot talks all about how they like to try to police their game, but it's still gonna be toxic here and there. Like those games both, like I don't care how many newcomer streams you put on, like they don't seem inviting at all.
One nice change, though, that I think is actually really going to work out for Valve is, so you have a behavior modifier on your account that's kind of behind the scenes, and it's just based on how many times you're commended versus reported.
Oh, sure.
And so you tend to get matched with, if you're a nice gamer, you get matched with other people who are more likely to be nice. And for newcomers, they're going to automatically put them in a high tier of
niceness.
Yeah. So I think that'll
let them whittle themselves down.
Exactly.
As necessary.
Yuck.
Yeah.
The behavior,
like,
trying to make things easier for newcomers, but like you said, it is so intimidating.
Like if anything, it seems like the most likely path I could see is like, and maybe there's not enough players for them to warrant doing it, but like to try to pull HOTS players.
Yeah.
Because like since Heroes of the Storm, again, this is my like outsider's perspective on it. Heroes of the Storm seems like the most kind of easy to get into of all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you could almost sell Dota as like, hey, you kid, you're ready for the big leagues? Step on up.
I mean, I think that's kind of how they sell it to League players too. I mean,
yeah.
I would say the majority, definitely a huge percentage, if not the majority of people I play with came from League.
Yeah, I came from
League. I would say more people I play with started with League and moved to Dota than started right with Dota.
I played about 1,000 games of League before
that is very common among the people that I play with.
And I feel like the thing that always switches people, at least it was for me, and I know most of my friends, is because your friends go. Like if your community of friends shifts games, then you follow them, and you just kind of need that one person to be like, hey, we should try Dota. Which I had a friend of mine. He's like a pretty good League player. He messaged me over the weekend. He's like, hey, you want to play Dota? And nothing made me happy.
Like, you were like, fucking A.
I was like, I wasn't looking for an excuse, but here we go.
I don't know. I mean, of course I wouldn't, because I don't know a lot of people that still actively play League, but do you know anybody that's ever gone the other direction?
From Dota 2 League?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, that's the thing. I think there's just so much extra depth there that once you get deep into that, like, there's just so much more variety there.
Yeah. I signed up for League. I created an account. That's as far as I got. Some friends of mine.
Recently, or
no? This was a couple years ago.
Okay.
I haven't downloaded and installed it probably about 8 times and uninstalled it because I'm just like, I don't know where to start with this.
That's exactly.
I'll play League of Legends with you.
I had a couple of friends. I had a few friends who were just like, fuck it, we're gonna suck at League, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'll
see what it's all about.
I'll suck at League with you guys, and then I just never like matched up with them online. We just never connected. So after about a week of that, I was like, I'm gonna uninstall.
One interesting stat I saw was 96% of heroes got picked at the international, something like that. Like there was like 7 who didn't get picked, versus the League World Championship was something like 52% of heroes picked.
Wow!
So like just right there kind of shows that there is a variety in. And it's not to say that there is. Everything is perfectly balanced in Dota, but that is one complaint I've heard from a lot of League fans who like maybe watch it more than they play it, is that this like, oh, it's just going to be the same.
That is the number one complaint I hear about
heroes
all the time.
I feel like
not only is it the same heroes, but that they are all very rigidly locked into the roles that are like prescribed for them.
The thing I would always hear about League was that every balance patch, like people complained about like the money aspect of it, where like, oh, this player is now like everyone went and bought this hero because this last patch made that hero super strong. And then as soon as everyone got way into him, they fixed the problem, and everyone had to go buy another one. You know, like the business model kind of.
That sounds like borderline conspiratorial. But,
definitely. Like I wouldn't necessarily like. You can't run a long-term successful business on that strategy. So I'm not accusing Riot of doing that, but certainly that was the complaint I would hear.
Another big complaint I've always heard about League is that like it's too easy for you to get out of problems. Like there are too many ways to escape from making a mistake and not be penalized for it. Whereas Dota is the most punishing game when you make a mistake on the fucking planet. And that's
you don't lose gold when you die in League.
Right, that's right. And like everybody's got like, a blink equivalent and that kind of thing. Like there are a lot of escapes for like being punished for your mistakes is a big part of why Dota is so hard to get into.
Let me tell you about a game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Oh yeah,
you want to talk about getting punished for your mistakes?
Yeah.
Just one kill sent back to the fucking menu.
Yep.
I will say about watching, I've started to like be curious about watching more high level League, just to check it out. The one thing I will say that is really impressive is like the mechanical skill when it comes down to a team fight. Like Dota, a lot of abilities are such high cooldown and stuff that you just kind of like, you use your couple main abilities and then you focus on right clicking or whatever. Like, you know, if you're a support or whatever, or if you're carry, you just right click or whatever. But League has like a lot of skill shots. It's really technically kind of a stat. Like APM is kind of a bigger deal in a team fight situation. But outside of those team fights, when it's in the laning stage, it's just very static.
Yeah. HOTS is kind of the same way. Like from the little bit I've played of it, like the abilities are always coming off cooldown. I feel like I'm constantly mashing keys in the middle of a fight because you've always got something to use.
That sounds way more interesting.
Yeah.
To me,
it's
a
more
player
active.
who wants some
it's more active,
action,
but there's less.
But
yeah, sure. It's your fingers are going to be doing more stuff, but you're going to.
I love it when my fingers do stuff,
but you're going to be thinking less about when.
I
you
hate
should
thinking.
Okay, then yeah, don't definitely.
This is perfect.
Because I mean, they're like the best abilities in Dota on certain heroes have like 2-minute cooldowns. So it's like very tactical. Like, do I use this now to secure 1 kill, or should I save it for like maybe 10 seconds from now? I'll be able to get 3 kills with it. Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to TI8. Actually, right now it's all the post TI drama where teams are starting to disband and kick players and shuffle around. So
does that happen as a result, like of the international, where someone's like, "Man, you play like shit. We're kicking you off our fucking team."
Yeah, I mean
that's a lot of it, and also just personal conflict and drama.
Okay.
When EG won the international 2 years ago, they kicked their carry player.
Yeah, it was a huge that was maybe the biggest drama I've ever seen in Pro Dota. Was like the American team won for the first time and then immediately started breaking up. Yeah.
That's I wonder if that'll ever. Like, you think about like the overall kind of esports story of like teams and players, and because this stuff is all just run by sponsors and like it's all very ragtag, and you hear all the stories about some players getting taken advantage of, and how is that getting better or worse or whatever, but it still feels like the Wild West in that aspect where
I really would like to see more teams commit. Like there's only like Virtus Pro was like, we're not disbanding, and that was a huge deal that they weren't disbanding because they got like 6th at TI or something. They were one of the favorites going in, and so people were like, oh, are they gonna be done after this? But they were like, no, we're a good team and we're gonna keep practicing as a team, and I think there's something to that. Like,
that actually I find that really off-putting as a casual spectator. Like if there was more team cohesion, I would be able to follow and care about those teams a lot more. But
and I wonder if some process, like other sports or something, where it's like, okay, players get traded, players are signed to contracts, like these contracts have to get, you have to deal a player to the free agency, all this sort of stuff. Obviously, a lot of that stuff is broken in fucking some sports, but
they do have it to an extent. There are roster lock periods where like up until like this point leading into TI, you can't change your roster and stuff, but I would like to see like trading and stuff go a little more. But it's harder because it's just a 5-man team as opposed to a football team, which can have
like backups, and it's a 5-man team. But like how many backups? Like 2. Okay. And is that like the maximum allowed by the rules? Okay, so you can have like, we're 20 people that are really fucking good at Dota. Which 5 are you gonna face?
It leads to you following specific players rather than teams because there is no expectation of team consistency.
But like Dota seems like such a team game. Like obviously like their individual skill matters, but like. Yeah, that's not gonna
You need to have a captain who you are willing to trust, and you need to have like a carry player who's willing to make calls even though he's not the captain, and like different like there are different kinds of captains. There's people like PPD who I've heard are very like, do this right now, go here, then we're going here, then we're going over here, and then like captains like Kuroki who are more like laid back and are just like, okay, who wants to do what? Kind of like and certain players respond better to certain captain. Yeah. So it's just the idea of trying to form a team that's going to last a long. Like when you join a team, knowing like, oh, I've got maybe 4 months on this team to do well.
And then what? Then you have to move, or do they all play online when they're not practicing?
They
or
don't all live together.
They don't do the esports house.
It's not the Starcraft house.
Some do.
Well, maybe
like
some
EG
do.
does, and.
But you hear about a lot of people just are spread across Europe or whatever.
Okay, well, if they can stay spread out, then maybe that matters less. Because I always thought about it in terms of like, oh, I'm on this team for 4 months and I uprooted my life to fucking move over to this esports house, and now I've been kicked out of my esports house, and now I gotta find a new esports house.
Nothing that bad, but it does make it hard to get invested. Like, so Newbie was the Chinese team in the finals, and that was notable because if they had won, they would have been the first repeat champion.
Okay,
Newbie won. What was it, TI4?
TI1.
No, Navi won. Newbie. I'm talking about the Chinese team. I think it was TI4.
2, 4.
It was like recently.
It was either 2 or 4.
It was 4 or 5. 2 was Alliance. Anyway. So yeah, it was like, okay, these guys might be the first 2-time champions. Like, that's exciting. And then I asked in our chat during the stream, I was like, how many of these guys are actually the same Newbie that won that first tournament? And they were like, one of them. One out of the 5 was a returning
He was
player.
in IG. He wasn't even in Newbie. He was in IG
Faith?
and won. Yeah.
Faith was not.
Faith was in Newbie now, but he was in IG that won.
Okay, so there were apparently no returning players would have won that second tournament. Like,
Whereas
so
like,
it's impossible to care about teams.
Exactly.
Like,
and especially like, you know, I feel like it's impossible to care about teams in a wider sense because they're all just like letters named after some sponsor, and you're just like, I don't care about this mouse manufacturer. Like, why does that matter?
The teams have an identity. The sponsors kind of detract from that in some ways.
Some teams represent themselves in like play style, like a lot.
Sure, but that's like that's that amalgamation of those players, right? That's less about the team and the team's colors and identity and all that other stuff.
Whatever, man. I'm gonna bleed blue for the rest of my life. Go EG, number 1 EG. You're out there bringing resolution.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a hard. It's another one of those things that just makes the whole thing a lot harder, I think, for outsiders to fully invest in because it is so fleeting.
It's also hard because none of their gear is good.
Well, I mean, you know, like they look like fucking. They look like cyber poker players.
Yeah,
like esports players look like fucking. The dudes that were on the fucking World Series of Poker 5 years ago, but like slightly in better shape and better at doing that fucking folded arms fucking stare.
Like scrawny NASCAR drivers.
Yeah, like the fucking the fucking Call of Duty team that won. Like, all the esports uniforms. I think are fucking awful.
There's a lot of silly stuff around esports.
I think I've been on record as saying I like Liquid's aesthetic. So I'm glad.
I think they need to get crazier with the uniforms. It needs to stop being these fucking like they need to just be like, I showed up
sports.
I showed up in full crash gear, like I was fucking like I got off a motorcycle and fucking stepped into the Dota arena and fucking helmet off, let's fucking Dota,
like wearing bike leathers,
or like Tron outfits.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay,
yeah. So make it LEDs in those get-ups.
Yeah,
okay.
And we're pirates, you know, just like go fucking all the way, full team cosplay. Just
we're pirates, but also here's this fat mouse manufacturer logo on my back.
We're pirates. Logitech makes a good product.
It was good. Yeah.
I also played a bunch of Splatoon.
Yes.
The second one.
Yes.
I played through, did some multiplayer, but mostly wanted to bang out and finish the single player campaign.
Yeah.
I really like. It's been a long time since we've had like a platformer that's kind of utilized the open world. Like Splatoon 1 did it too, so this isn't unique to the franchise. But just the fact, so you know, the kind of overworld that have the levels in them, you have to kind of navigate around and find the levels. They're invisible little platforms that you have to spray, but it's kind of obvious like where they are just because the work, like everything's deliberately there for a purpose. This ramp is going up to the left. I bet there's a level over there. And it gets really crazy with the last world. I don't know have you gone through?
I'm still on the second world. I never went back to it.
It gets really crazy. It's like playing a level to get to a level. It reminds me of like old 3D platformers where you kind of like, you know,
you have that overworld or
like
the Mario
Peach's
Castle,
right?
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of like creating a world outside of the levels is cool. It's something that I didn't realize I missed in games, but it was neat.
And you finished it?
I did finish it. I'm going to talk about the last boss. So if you're sensitive to that information,
last boss, like spoiler warning.
2 minutes. It's the same boss as Splatoon 1. It's the same guy. The DJ in the big thing. He's got the wasabi and he throws big fists at you, and you have to spray the fit. So the first part of it is the same fight. The difference is he has Callie, who's like the squid sister. No, what are they called?
There's Callie and Marie.
Yeah. Of Callie, of Callie and Marie.
The ones that do like the fake newscasts
from the first
game.
Oh, are they not in the
No,
Pearl and Marina.
They're missing, and Pearl and Marina are there for the second game.
Okay.
So she's there.
In fact, if you try to use their amiibo in the game, I think before you finish the campaign, you just get a note that pops up and says, "Hey, I'm really busy doing stuff.
That's cool.
Check me out later."
That's kind of
that
neat.
is neat.
Which I imagine means that once you finish the game, you could use those amiibo and do something, do whatever that does.
But the second phase of the fight is interesting. You end up on those like grind rails, the little like thin rails, so you're jumping around from rail to rail doing the stuff. But I was just like, I wasn't expecting much because the bosses have kind of neat designs. Like they're interesting. They're like Mario bosses.
Yeah, like that one night that Jeff played on UPF a few weeks ago I was like, all right, this is okay. There's some stuff in
You got to do a bunch of stuff to end up hitting them 3 times. Right? That's kind of it.
But it's pretty mechanically interesting.
Yeah, but this guy, I was just like, it's literally the exact. It'd be like if Mario Sunshine, forget Mario.
Forget
Forget everything about Mario Sunshine. But it's just like if you ended Mario Sunshine and you beat it by throwing Bowser into a spiky bomb from a platform that's slowly crumbling.
Like mechanically, it was the same fight as well.
Yeah, you shoot back the giant fists that fly out of the DJ machine.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like punching, and you're just spraying him back into his face, and then you spray his body. And I was just really sad by that.
Do you get so? I'm interested in the single player. It doesn't seem bad, but did you unlock anything cool for multiplayer for just finishing it?
I don't remember.
I know there are ways to bring like the hero dualies or whatever, or like the hero versions of the weapons back into multiplayer.
You have to beat
every single level
world with the I don't remember if I unlocked anything immediately. I got a bunch of money, which you can use on gear and stuff.
Did you get a lot of tickets for bonus
for
stuff?
Krusty Sean's food truck?
Yeah, for his food.
I like Krusty
XP
Sean
Doubler Shack.
a lot. There's a guy who runs a taco truck. His name is Krusty Sean,
and he sells you XP doublers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chipotle XP double.
But only for tickets. Like you have to find the tickets
and they last for like 20 games or something. I'm kind of sad that there's only 2 levels for me right now to play in multiplayer because they can really wear out. If I'm like, because I'm the kind of, when it comes to multiplayer games, I'm the kind of person who will like go a week without playing it and then want to play it for 5-6 hours straight.
Right. Yeah.
And so because there's always 2 maps in rotation, you start to get really tired of those maps. Like it's an arc, right? It's like, hey, I'm seeing this map for the first time in a while. Oh, I'm learning a lot about like how I should maneuver around this map and how I can kind of utilize all these corners and stuff. And then it's just like, I wish I was on another map.
I feel like there's the one map that I don't remember the name of it, but you start up really high and there's a long path down.
Oh yeah.
I can't fucking stand that map. So if I turn on the game and that's one of the ones in rotation, it's effectively like, hey, stop playing.
I got bad news for you in the single player.
Oh, great.
Oh boy. How often do they swap? I don't know.
Hourly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
that's
is it?
pretty quick.
I think it's once an hour they'll update.
Oh,
Or maybe every 2.
I still don't. I don't even with that rapid pace. I don't get the advantage of not just putting all the maps in the hopper.
I think they really want you to think about the maps as things that matter and get better at playing the stages because the game is not about shooting the other players.
It does emphasize,
except as an act of denial.
Yeah, I guess it emphasizes territory control,
right?
And a lot of games don't.
And also, most of the time, I feel like when I turn it on, maybe I've just been lucky. It comes up and says "Humpback Pump Track," and I'm like, "Hey, that's a fun thing to say out loud." And I think it's a pretty good map. Go for it. Okay, go ahead.
Humpback Pump Track. Yeah, that hits all the.
Yeah,
it has
everything about it feels good. And I like that map a lot. So so when it's that one and one other one, like I'm happy to play for that in full duration.
Yeah,
because I like that map a lot.
I would just be happy if it was like 4. I'd be really happy if it was just give me slightly more,
or something where like in this early phase of the game's release, maybe it makes sense to do this. But then, or maybe when you hit level 10, it's not just ranked play. It's fuck it, just play Turf War, or just play it, and it's a full rotation of all maps. Yeah, and have that be like a beginner's hopper that eventually locks away once you've reached level 10 or something. So
and I'm about to hit 10, so I'll be able to hop into that other stuff.
Every single ranked match I've played, I have not liked it as much as the default rule set, because it's stuff like Rainmaker where there's like a specific weapon you're trying to walk into the other, like it's a flag, but it's also a gun. And so you want to get the Rainmaker and walk it into their base to win. Yeah. But you also can, shoot it. It's a pretty devastatingly but slow firing weapon. And so there's that one. There's Turf War, which I think is actually kind of cool because it's just one chunk of the map is counted at the end. It's like,
it's like a king of the hill.
Yeah, control this specific territory by the end. And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But I still just like the default mode.
Yeah,
I
that
think
default mode's great.
It's still the best mode. So, like, yeah, you unlock league battle and ranked mode and stuff like that, and you get access to all these other modes. But A, you can't choose those because those are just a different rotation with different maps and a mode. And B, I just don't think those modes are as much fun. So I've mostly been just playing on ranked because that's been a good time. Seen a lot of people complaining about. I'm starting to wonder if it's like a theoretical complaint or if people are actually feeling it. Complaining about the tick rate on those servers. That Splatoon runs at like 16 hertz or something, where it's like it's just not. It's not refreshing.
Not updating.
Yeah,
the
like
world state
the world state
yeah.
only updates 16 times a second instead of 30 or 60. You know, I feel like people had that complaint about Overwatch at one point, right? Where it was like it was 30 and people wanted 60, and people kind of worked backwards on Splatoon enough to the point where they realized it was a pretty low tick rate. That said, I've had a great time playing it online and don't feel like I'm getting taken advantage of by the server, or like the connectivity or anything like that. So
I'm way more impacted by people leaving the game.
Oh yeah, that's way more. Like to the point where one of the fucking abilities you can load onto gear is do better when you're shorthanded.
Really?
Which is like fucked up.
That's
that they put that into the game.
Yeah.
Like that's almost like them realizing like, oh well, if someone quits or gets kicked, like.
But then why would you ever equip that?
Why would you ever equip that? Because yeah, exactly. Like,
do people just quit when they're losing? Is it that simple?
Or people like
especially in unranked.
Yeah,
walk away like before the match starts. Like I've had matches where like for the first minute there's been a player standing at the spawn. And you're just like, fuck, man.
Or like the match ends, you're like, oh my god, I'm getting crushed.
Yeah,
and then
what
the match ends and you realize like two
yeah.
dudes on your team have 0 points.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that stuff sucks. But yeah, the idea that they would put an ability in there is like a way to address that. Like, oh, waste one of your ability slots on this thing that should never happen.
As opposed to building in systems that try to regulate that behavior.
They do have a pop-up that'll come up and say like, hey, something's like it's real kind of like in-universe, like something's fishy with your internet stuff. I hope it doesn't happen a bunch of times or else we're going to have to do something about it, fucker.
Krusty Sean's
Krusty Sean's going to fucking do some dirt. So I don't know what state you end up in if you repeatedly leave. Maybe they do eventually start penalizing people. That's certainly the implication. But I enjoy playing that game, and I don't take it very seriously. So I'm not like I don't feel like burned by the tick rate. You know, like I'm just like whatever. It's a good time. It's
a fun, relaxing multiplayer game.
I wish more players would ink behind the spawn other than just me, but that's cool too. Whatever. I'm getting it done. We're having fun.
It's a great Dota come down game.
Yeah, I could see that from the most demanding multiplayer to perhaps the least. So you were happy with the single player then?
Yeah. Overall, I think they did Splatoon 1's multiplayer or single player was pretty fun.
Yeah.
This kind of iterates on that. It does a lot more with the weapon variety and forcing you to play with different weapons that you normally wouldn't, but just to like see kind of the depth of the different abilities that each of the weapons has. It was overall pretty cool, and all the other bosses I thought were really entertaining.
Do you care at all about the salmon run, the horde mode thing?
I haven't played it yet, other than at E3. I've never been around while it was super active. I know you can do it with friends at any time.
Yeah.
If you go to the other building.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it in the rotation yet.
Yeah, I've had it. So it's open. It's a different building you walk over to.
Oh, is it just like a normal thing I can go play with strangers?
It's not open. Yeah, you can, but it's not open all the time.
So
it's when the broadcast starts up and they do the shilling for Grizzco or whatever. That's the sign that the building over to the left is open, and they take you through a couple of training levels, and then eventually you can just match in with people and do it. I did it once or twice. Like it's okay, but I feel like most of the time when I launch the game, it's not open.
I'd like to do it with friends.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't love doing it with randoms.
Get your phone and build a party and you
can download the Discord
app.
Download
Discord and exactly. Get some friend codes. It's a good time.
Yeah. Jason.
Hi.
What you been playing?
A little bit more Phantom Trigger.
Yeah.
So I started talking about that last week, and I really wasn't that far, and I was only talking about 2 weapons. There's 3 main weapons.
Nice.
So it's all kind of set to your face buttons. Square is like your ice attack. Triangle would be just like that's your whip, and then the circle is like this fire like glove gauntlet type thing. So you use all of these attacks in like conjunction with one another. as you level up these special abilities, different combos unlock, which is kind of cool. So X is like your dash, right? So you can hit square, which is like 2 ice attacks, and then hit that dash button, and it'll actually be like an ice slide type thing. Or if you do square triangle, it'll be like a long-reaching ice attack. And it really, like, the flow of combat is really, really cool. It's hard as hell, but it's just like room after room after room of just like, enemies coming at you, and sometimes they'll be only weak to fire or something like that. So it's extremely combat heavy, but it's fun. I like it a lot.
What's the like broad structure of the game? Is it pure action, just level based, or
it seems to be pure action.
It's not like a big open world adventure Zelda type thing.
Kind of, yeah. I get that vibe every now and again when you like go back to like the hub, like the home world or something like that. All of this is actually kind of, well, they haven't really specified what exactly is going on, but it seems to be taking place in this guy's head, like it's a split personality or something like that. And these are characters that coincide with people in his real life. The characters inside the game. Like there's a big rabbit that you talk to that wants a bunch of spices or something like that. So it's a little, obtuse about what exactly is going on.
Yeah,
but
is there much to like explore though? I mean, is there?
It's progression based. Okay. So yeah, there's one like a spawn point inside of like the camp that you're at that'll take you to the next level. Once you beat that level, it'll just take you somewhere else.
So it sounds like combat is the focus.
Yeah, definitely. And it's out on the Switch. That's crazy to me. So fucking Switch has another good game. That's great.
Yeah. I pulled it. This is the one that has kind of a Hyper Light Drifter looking.
Yeah.
I pulled up some video of this after you talked about it last week. It looks striking.
Yeah.
It's got a really cool look.
Really good neon look. Yeah. And like I said, some of the animation is just spectacular. That whip. Oh,
that whip is a very good whip.
It's really good. Yeah. And the co-op seems to work pretty well. There's local co-op on the Switch too. So each of you can just use the Joy-Con, which is, probably not the ideal, but totally possible. Yeah. Cool. Other than that, just I guess stuff I can't talk about. Yeah. I got a couple things under NDA right now.
You guys want to see a game?
Yeah, we went and saw a game yesterday.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go see another one tomorrow.
Mystery game.
Video games.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Who needs them?
I know.
Power Stone 3.
God damn it, Ben.
Weak Rock 6.
Right.
Yep. It's my favorite game. All right.
It's $2 on Steam right now. Weak Rock 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it while you can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a break. What do you say?
Yeah, sure.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
All right. Let's go through the video game news of the video game world.
Nidhogg 2 is out.
Yeah.
Nidhogg 2 is out.
Yeah.
All the other news is obsolete because Nidhogg 2 is out.
We need to get some people on the horn and play some Nidhogg 2.
We need to
check out that online.
We need to finish this show and go play some Nidhogg 2. That's what we need to do.
We need to call up our friends in the East.
I don't have any friends in the East, man.
Word.
Yeah. I have no friends.
West Coast.
Just enemies.
West Coast.
Get those guys on the line.
Yeah.
Show them what's what. We need to play some more Nidhogg 2.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes. We will do that soon.
I really want to check out the online. I hope that works.
I
hope it's good. Yeah.
I really hope the online. Did you guys?
Then again, I'm like, fuck, what? They're not going to do lobbies, right?
Did you guys check it out?
No.
No?
Sorry.
You should check it out.
I had stuff going on last night.
Does it have a single player? Did you play it?
Ben,
man, you guys suck.
What? Ben and I were supposed to play it last night. I didn't connect with him.
I remembered at like 11:30 that we were supposed to play last night.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm just going to go to bed instead.
Sorry. And I made such a big deal about it. I'm like, we're going to test out the online if we're going to do anything cross coast. That's how I sounded.
We're going to play some Nidhogg 2. Fuck these guys.
Yeah, I'm going to download it on the PS4
That's
when
right.
we're done with the show, and then I'm going to play some Nidhogg.
That's right.
Is it PS4 too?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
We didn't get codes for that.
Yeah,
we
fucking A, man. Okay.
The news. This is not news. Let's talk about news. Obvious joke. Valve announced a game.
Oh, that's right. I fucking forgot that happened. Yeah.
Valve announced a game at the International.
I was watching it real time.
It's a card game.
And
It's a Dota card game.
Day 9 was like, guys, a series had just ended. He's like, guys, I've got huge news, exclusive news. Valve is working on a new game. It's a new IP. He's like, it's not Half-Life 3, but it's a new IP. Who is excited? And everyone's just like, wow. Valve is making a video game.
Twitter fucking broke down.
And then
did he really say it's a new IP?
Yes.
Wait, what? No.
He said like a completely brand. He's like, it's not a sequel. It's not a blah, blah. It's a completely brand new video game.
That seems like a mistake.
Maybe not the words new IP, but he was phrasing it as like, this is a new video game. It's not a sequel.
Accurate. I mean, technically true.
Accurate.
Yeah. He's like, check out Artifact, and it cuts, and they're like, I forget what the trailer, but the trailer's like basically, hey, it's a Dota card game. It's
there's
Hearthstone, but for
nothing
Dota.
in that trailer. And then they get to the end, and it just says Artifact, the Dota card game.
Yeah.
That tagline was maybe a little not.
So you were watching the trailer. At what point did you know that it was a card game?
When it said Dota, or Artifact, the Dota card game.
At the very end.
Oh, the rest of it is just like, what? It's like a picture of a fucking volcano or something, right?
There's a shot of the audience, and they're just like losing their mind, and then that appears on screen, and everyone's just like, they like collectively moan and like gasp in confusion, but like, you know, that ended, and I was just like disappointed or whatever. But then Day 9 was like,
well, disappointed. Like, what did you want it to be?
I don't know, a new video game from Valve.
You
I wanted
expect
to
a lot
see
out
what
of it.
That's just crazy.
It is.
So before that moment where he said there's a new video game coming out from Valve, I was not expecting anything.
Oh, come on. Who actually seriously thought they were going to announce anything not Dota related at the Dota tournament? Like, I can't
got
believe.
wrapped up in the moment, you know?
I saw so many
like,
people saying, like, fucking, I thought it was going to be Portal 3. And just like,
no, I didn't think it was going to be anything huge like that, but maybe, like, you know, if Valve...
You could make a Portal MOBA. Portal 3 could be...
If
but
Valve
you wouldn't announce it at the
start,
International.
If they wanted to start winning back people, they got to start announcing video games. And what better place to announce a video game than something that 500,000 people are concurrently watching?
I think that detracts from this being a big Dota tournament.
Also, like, what is winning back people in this sense mean?
I don't know.
Like,
I've started to see like
Dota's huge.
Yeah,
I've started to see a backlash against Valve a lot recently.
I mean, that's been ongoing for years and years.
I don't know. It's ramping up. I'm seeing a lot more headlines. I'm seeing a lot more Twitter tweets.
How many people were watching the tournament? Like
500,000
That's
across all streams.
That's a lot of fucking eyeballs to get in front of.
Yeah.
a
Also,
good place to
I
make an
do
announcement.
agree in a sense that like you've definitely seen like a ramp up of people being critical of Steam.
Yeah, sorry.
But
that's a different.
But
that's a completely different.
I feel like
issue.
that's a kind of a different thing.
People being angry they're not getting Half-Life 3 is a completely separate bucket from people that think that like Steam as a storefront has problems.
That's what I mean.
Or should not have a monopoly on game distribution. Like those are totally different conversations.
But like, so after the trailer, Day 9 was like, I played a bunch of it. It's really cool. He's like, it's not what you're thinking. Hearthstone, right? It's not what you're thinking. It really represents Dota. It's got like 3 lanes, and it really kind of encapsulates the Dota experience. And that's about all he said about it. So that is enough to keep me like mildly interested. I'm gonna keep track of it.
I don't typically care about card games, but that sounds like something I would try.
Yeah.
Just because you're going to come into it with familiarity of like, okay, I know roughly what these heroes do, and I know what it is to push a lane, and you know, like to apply that to a different type of game sounds kind of
and just
exciting.
see like how they incorporate like items and like see, you know,
totally.
This seems like a game that current Valve would definitely make.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like I think that there's a real separation, and people haven't really come around to it because they could still revisit this stuff anytime they want to dust it all off and go like, okay, fine, here's Left 4 Dead 3, here's whatever. You know, they can do it.
Right.
Sure. But if you think about what Valve is now and where their bread is buttered and all this other stuff, it's CS:GO, it's Dota. You know, like it's the enormous pile of money they get out of Steam, which is neither here nor there. Like whatever, that just floats them in their ability to do nothing if they want to.
Yep.
And like that's Valve now. Like I just don't see them. I finding a way to justify to themselves that hey, a single player game is the best thing we could be working on right now. It's the smartest thing. Like,
or forget smart. Like I think the thing that people that are constantly bellyaching about no Half-Life 3 or whatever fail to account for is the idea that maybe nobody at Valve wants to make those games anymore. And like, I don't think.
A lot of people have left.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
specifically, all of the writers, pretty much, not all. I mean, who knows? There could definitely be more people
don't know
that
who's
helped.
hiring.
But the names, the well-known names behind like the writing in Half-Life and Portal are gone.
Yeah,
you know, and like, I wouldn't want them to like force out another Portal or another Half-Life if their hearts weren't in it.
Right,
and
they're in a position to where they don't have to force anything out
franchises.
because they're sleeping on a pile of burning money and laughing about it.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's like
That seems like you wouldn't get a great night's sleep on a pile of burning money.
I think you know what
the stack of money is so high that they're on the top where it's not burning yet, and they're just like, whatever.
And by the time they wake up, they're just moved to another pile.
right, yeah, that pile's done.
I think what actually sticks my craw over that stuff is that there's this tone of like insult or grievance from a lot of people that complain about the types of games that Valve makes these days. And like, I mean, developers should make the games they want to make, within the freedom that they have to do so.
I agree.
If this is what they want to make, then I can't fault them for it.
Yeah, like it'd be nice if there was more closure to the Half-Life story.
Sure.
Like I think
there
should be a Half-Life 3. I think everything we've heard over the years about what Half-Life 3 was to be, in various forms over the years, like none of it sounded all that amazing.
I mean, for all we know, they've been trying to make a Half-Life 3 and are not feeling good about. Look at the legacy of those games, and it's like, holy shit, we have to do this a third time. We have to redefine this genre again.
Yeah.
And nothing we've come up with has done that.
Yeah. And
like, who knows?
And they had their business reasons around, like, well, if we're going to make Half-Life 3, we're going to make it when the Steam machine comes out, or we're going to make it when the Vive is released.
Yeah.
And, like those things have kind of come and went.
Now it's a card game.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now it's a mobile
clicker.
card game. Okay, all right, I'm in. Just click this crowbar. It's okay. 100 Gordon Freemans are dropped onto an island.
Okay.
That's as far as I got.
Okay.
Right. You can buy hats.
I'm in.
All right, great.
Sold.
Yeah, you wouldn't want them to like force out a sequel to Half-Life out of duty.
That's what it is for me. Like I would
like that's a bad solution too.
Yeah, I would much rather never have one of those games again than get a disappointing one. Sure. Like that's where it's at for me.
Play Half-Life Episode 1. Disappointing.
Yeah, that was probably the weakest.
Yeah.
They got a Black Mesa on their hands.
Ooh.
I don't want to.
I wanted to stop talking about Half-Life, so I said
you
that
did
joke.
it.
All right,
you found a way.
Artifact sounds tentatively neat, and also Brad Muir is working on it.
Well, all right then. Whatever. It's no Skylanders Battlecast, so that's the only card game I'm ever going to play. So.
Yeah. Also, they rolled out that horrifying AI bot that's going to destroy us all.
Yeah, OpenAI.
On a USB stick, they brought it out.
Yeah, that's right. That's where that
I
thing
guess
lives.
That weird part of that show
That was
just
so
like the
dumb.
dumbest, like wheeling out this machine that's not plugged into anything, and then just going.
And then like Dendy walking in a boxing robe, surrounded by like bodyguards.
Like when they do their theatrics, it's fun. They get behind it.
Yeah. I guess they said that software is mostly going to be used for like surgeon AI and like real world practical stuff. But
I didn't realize. So this is some tech. I don't know if it's startup or if it's grown beyond that. But yeah, it's called OpenAI, and Elon Musk, and another component of his attempts to own the future, is a backer of it.
Of course.
And then wasn't he out there like in the wake of this saying like, "Hey, you need to be fucking scared of AI right fucking now"?
Well, he's been banging that drum for a while.
Yeah,
like he will literally tell you that the AI is a greater threat than climate change. So maybe take what he has to say with a grain of salt. But
also, what if he's right?
Remember
in the Matrix when the machines used the climate change to
hindsight's always 2020.
All right.
So they did a thing with those bots where the first 50 people to beat it 1v1 would get like an Arcana.
Yeah. So how did that go? I never heard how that went. Did people figure out a way to exploit
50 people beat it. Yeah. They figured out how to exploit it, which was you start out with a windlace so you can go faster than the creeps.
Yeah.
You run to mid lane. You get the enemy creeps to follow you, and you just follow them. You just make the enemy creeps follow you around the jungle while your creeps push the tower, and the bot gets like confused of whether it should defend the tower or go chase you, and so it ends up just kind of doing nothing. And since it only learns based on a 1v1 in game, but it doesn't learn across multiple games, the same exploit would work every game.
Oh, it wasn't like they were updating the AI
it's because they
after
didn't,
every game.
It was
just the same profile.
It will learn it will learn how to counter you.
Yeah.
But in its natural habitat.
Yeah.
That would. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we were totally right that somebody found a way to cheese it, and
But as soon as they flip the learning switch back on, that's going to go away.
I think like 2 pros ended up beating it, like legitimately,
like outmaneuvering it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, did they ever come out and explicitly say these will be the new bots in the game at some point, or is this just an experiment?
so.
No, well, they definitely said next on our list is making a 5v5 version of this.
Okay.
So if they're doing that, it makes you think like they will eventually.
Yeah. And I think they said that like the bot that beat Dendy had only been learning for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So yeah, frightening stuff. Let's see. That big No Man's Sky ARG that's been going on for, God, what, 6 weeks? 2 months?
5 years? I don't know. Like how?
Our entire lives.
Yeah.
Finally concluded with the 1.3 update, which is called Atlas Rising.
What was at the middle?
I'm sorry?
What was at the middle?
The middle.
Not multiplayer, but Fable-esque multiplayer.
Peter
You
Molyneux.
can see spheres representing other players in the world. And a bunch of other stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, they fixed a bunch of stuff and did a bunch of other shit.
Sounds like a huge update. Like
Yeah.
if I didn't have just 8 other games I should be playing, I would love to get in and actually check this stuff out. There are, God, I'm trying to like find a list of stuff here. So there are functional portals between planets now, so you can instantly warp between planets. There's a huge like new story mode. I don't know a whole lot about it other than they're saying it's like 30 hours of story. New aliens, new ships. The multiplayer stuff that Jeff talked about, but yeah, you only see little like light balls floating around. I guess there's some voice chat attached to that.
Okay.
But
Is it like proximity based or?
yeah, I believe that's the case. But yeah, you can't like interact with those people. You can basically just tell that they're there for now. But I think
Hey, fuck you! Your planet sucks.
Yeah.
basically, I think they maybe implied that.
This was a first step.
Yes, I think
for
they
this.
use language that made it sound like they will continue working on this multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Space stations have procedural missions now. There are crashed freighters. There's 2 types of mission systems. There's a terrain editing tool now where you can just sort of make and destroy terrain at will to make whatever shapes you want. They've redone the cockpits for dogfighting, and apparently like the ships fly differently now.
You can do like low orbit flight
you
now.
can fly more freely on planets than you used to be able to. It sounds like a lot of stuff.
There's no one thing on that list that makes me go like, oh, I gotta see it.
Oh, I know, but
You
it's
know,
a
there
cumulative
was-
thing of
yeah,
like they've
yeah.
already had 2 other massive updates. Like it sounds like a pretty complete game at this point. It sounds like a lot closer to what I would have wanted out of the gate.
I don't know what I would want at this point.
I mean, it's still one of
Like
those.
this,
you know?
Yeah.
Like it's still a survival game.
Right.
You're still collecting carbon.
I feel like I spent a long time surviving, and like I know that I asked around a little bit. It sounds like that they raised the stack limit in your inventory.
Oh yeah,
a couple of patches back
they've
to try to
changed a lot of that
adjust some of
stuff.
that stuff. But it sounds like the inventory is still like kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Just like fundamental things that can't
Yeah.
be really changed.
They could.
I mean, it's-
mods fixed them in
yeah.
a way by just saying like, here's all the slots automatically instead of having to slowly upgrade the number of slots.
I mean,
in your-
that's obviously not the type of game they're trying to make.
No,
Like
no,
it's-
definitely.
it is. It's not quite the long dark in terms of how harsh it is, but it's
Right.
clearly of that.
They want you to make decisions about what you carry forward.
Yes.
But the portal stuff, like having a cleaner way to maybe like designate your home planet to revisit it, keep stuff there. Like you have your freighter that you can store inventory in as well.
Base stuff and all that.
There's stuff around that.
And I've talked to a couple of people who briefly have messed with this new story stuff, and they say it's good. Cool. Like that's kind of all I've heard about it. But like just like
I feel like I guess I would, if I were to go back to this now, I would just start a fresh game.
I guess I would too. I asked somebody that, and they said it's kind of. It sounds like it's sort of how like Fallout DLC works or something. Where you sort of it'll find ways to steer you toward the new stuff if you jump back into an old game.
Have they added like a bunch of NPCs or anything?
There are new
Like,
aliens.
okay, so how do they present the story? I guess
I'm not sure. That's what we would have to just get in there and see.
Yeah.
And like
It could be as easy as like, hey, we've detected a beacon on this planet 3 jumps away. You should go there, right? If you want.
There's
something like that.
There's a bunch more detail when you're looking at systems to jump to now in terms of like conflict level and resource variety and stuff like that. Like, it sounds like all that economy stuff is better. Just like imagine if this game had come out in early access a year ago and these were updates they were making.
I mean, it's like a semantic change, but
It
yes,
is, but,
it
like,
would
it would completely change.
definitely change the conversation around this game.
People would, and I don't know that it would have sold any less if they had put it out in early access.
And I feel like at the time they're, in some ways were beholden to Sony not having an early access program.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Fortnite,
Epic just came along and was like, fuck it.
So
this is early access.
So I was at a Target over the weekend, and I stopped off and stared at a copy of Fortnite for a while because they made physical copies, just like they did with Paragon.
Yeah. And how much is it? 60?
I believe that's the case. I can't tell you for sure. It might be 4. I don't actually know. I stared at the box, not the price directly below the box. But I didn't really see anything on there that was implying like, hey, this game's not done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's like, I find it weird that they even put the words early access on their loading screen on PS4 because Sony has kind of said like, hey, we don't really do the early access thing.
Yeah.
But then they did it with Paragon. They did it here. You know, they've like Dreadnought is in open beta, I think, but you can still spend money on stuff around it. And you have to wonder, like, is Sony like having their cake and eating it too, or what? Like kind of having it both ways when it's convenient for them. Like the very idea that like there are physical copies of Fortnite.
That's weird.
It is super weird.
Insane.
Yep.
That like,
and that is not messaged better.
Obviously, it's an online game. It's a living game that's going to be updated and even post early access, whatever that even means. You know, they'll continue to update it. They've got to, they're out there talking about their 5-year plan for Fortnite. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, I feel like you buy that game right now, pop it in, and see it say early access, and see like this UI that doesn't feel ready for prime time, and a lot of that stuff.
Doesn't explain everything very well.
It's right up to the line of being deceptive, I guess I would say. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It is very much on the line. I'm just like, this feels wrong, but not egregiously, horribly wrong. Maybe just like, this is kind of
the next one you see will be the one that's egregiously
or someone will press up
like
physical copies of something that's broken and sell it or something. I just don't even know.
Eventually somebody's going to go too far.
Yeah.
Like, or the potential is definitely there for somebody to take this too far and really get burned for it.
Like, obviously games are so, and I think the answer is that Sony probably just needs to formalize an early access or game preview, which is what Microsoft calls theirs.
Did it a couple of years ago.
And I don't think there's a problem with that. That's fine. It's codified on Steam. It's fine on the Xbox One. I think they've done all right by that stuff.
Yeah.
But
call it
Sony not having an equivalent.
Hey, it's gonna be good.
Hey, we'll make it. We're working on this.
It's gonna be a good one.
It'll get there.
Service games. That's what we'll call it. Sega for short.
See you in 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just fucking weird.
It's a weird situation. Nobody seems to quite know how to handle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like No Man's Sky and The Long Dark are great counter examples because like they're both the same type of game. They both like Long Dark was in early access for like 3 years, almost, and nobody complained because they were upfront about it and they were iterating on it and they were adding to it, and then it came out and they added a story mode at the release. It's got more complete stuff in it as a final game, but like they never made any bones about, hey, we're working on this. Like this is in development as you're playing it.
I mean, the communications failures around No Man's Sky are like manifold, right? You know, that's you could write a book on that if you wanted to.
Yeah, but just like the amount that they've put into it since this time last year, like if this had been, hey, here's the skeletal framework of what we're trying to do, it's early access, here you go if you want it.
Yeah, like this is,
we'll continue adding to it.
This is the first shot in our salvo, like, you know, we've got a plan, you know, like anything.
Because like what they've added
than
to
what
it,
they said,
what they've added to it in 12 months is pretty impressive on its face. But but when viewed as a make good rather than as a fulfillment,
totally,
like it doesn't go down so well. Yeah, but I would like to check that stuff out if time were unlimited. The only other really thing I got here is it's BattleNet again,
right?
Blizzard renamed BattleNet to BattleNet.
To Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard BattleNet. They made a big deal.
It was going to be the Blizzard launcher. They
were here. This might have been before you.
No,
right before you came
I remember
on board.
when they were like, "It's not BattleNet anymore."
They stopped calling it BattleNet and they started saying,
back?
Like, it's going to be called Blizzard. Yes, they put up a blog post the last couple days saying it changed our minds. It's BattleNet again.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I could read what you said and what they said.
Because it's a good fucking name.
Yeah,
for the thing.
But like,
and also now they're selling non-Blizzard games on there with Destiny 2.
Yeah,
so
which is like in the store. There is a Destiny 2 slot in their store now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because I went there looking for Starcraft yesterday, and there's Destiny 2.
I guess that beta is launching 29th or 28th, I think, is what they said.
Of
this month.
Why did they change it?
That's a week before
the
game comes
out.
Well, but it's not coming out on PC.
Yeah, the PC version's
like
coming
October.
a little later. So
why did they do this?
We understood that BattleNet stood for something special.
Oh, Christ.
Apparently you didn't.
It represents...
But you understand now.
Yeah. Yes. It represents years of shared history and enjoyment, community, and friendship for all of us and our players.
It's a good fucking URL. That's all they need to say.
The
Like,
technology,
hey guys,
the technology was never going away, but after giving the branding change further consideration and also hearing your feedback, we're in agreement that the name should stay as well.
Fuck off, Blizzard.
Yeah. They still make good games.
Yes, and Battle.net is great, and it's a good service, but like, they obviously had a reason to change it.
Yeah.
probably easier to trademark. And if you see, like, they show like the new logo that is like the Blizzard logo and the words Battle.net below it. So it's probably literally like they couldn't trademark and protect the term Battle.net because it was too generic. So the logo mark now has the Blizzard logo in it, which makes it, you know, I bet there's
like,
just...
we know we have Blizzard, let's just call it that in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. The Blizzard is a name they own, they can protect, whatever. And they probably wanted to rally around that. And then
everyone was like,
lawyers were like, this is what you, this is the sound move. You can't protect Battle.net. Anyone could call whatever. You could have a Battle.net porno come out and we couldn't do anything.
We're also very bad lawyers.
Also very bad lawyers.
This ain't Battle.net
XXX.
XXX.
This ain't Battle.net XXX. Jim Raynor is a trucker as
Whoa.
well.
Whoa.
Space trucker.
Uh-huh.
And he's got some phone calls to make.
Go on. Call Widowmaker.
That's right.
This is Jimmy.
This is Jimmy.
Goliath Online.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Anyway,
we're in for some chop.
Good on them for finally, we're in the pipe 5x5.
Need a light.
Oh, God.
All right. It's just getting dumb now. That's it for news. Emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
He did that while he was drinking a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fucking smooth ass shit down there.
Yep. Ambidextrous.
Maestro-like.
Mm-hmm. Could do it blindfolded. John O. from Omaha, Nebraska.
Maha.
Yeah.
With the announcement that Paris is considering allowing esports to be part of the 2024 Olympic Games,
Fuck yes.
is this finally the time where we can transition from players using stupid nicknames and actually start using their real names?
No.
For the love of God, I hope this happens and normalizes
No.
the use of actual player names.
You're so wrong.
Why?
You're 100% wrong.
Okay.
Because, okay.
You know what? Actually, I am really excited about the idea of some like highfalutin Olympic announcer.
Yes.
Calling
Mind control.
calling
the
games
gold
about
medal.
Matumba Man.
Because, yeah.
So yes.
It's funny to hear people use gamer tags out of context.
Yeah.
But also, like, these players chose these names. These are things that, like, mean something to them. Like,
Yeah.
you know, some of them are going to be like, oh, I named myself Eternal Envy because there's a character in Full Metal Alchemist who is
The
this
boring.
name.
That is the least interesting
But, like-
backstory to your name.
But there are people whose names mean something to them,
Sure.
and like as much as their real names do, because they get called this for their job. Like this is their life. It's kind
Ludacris, for example.
Yeah, I mean we have
We
a
know him as
history
Ludacris.
of The Rock.
Uh-huh.
Like there's
He tried.
yeah.
He tried. He went Dwayne Johnson and then
everyone's
had to
just
settle
like-
with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Man, like yes, sure. It makes it seem more childish if you're like having to use these gamer tags to describe people, but
the thing I've come to realize is that using real names is not going to stop people that don't think it's a real thing from thinking it's bullshit.
yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
that's
You're
not the
right.
tipping point
You're right.
for like mainstream
It's
non-video game
always going to
fans
be
to understand
just some
it.
kids playing video
Yeah,
games to those
exactly.
people.
So, you know, like catering to those people, whatever. I might almost say that maybe it's time as a society that we go the other way with it and just let people pick a name when they hit a certain age.
Like Ocho Cinco.
Exactly. Yeah. And just say like, hey, just you can name yourself whatever you want.
You
The
mean
gloves
legally?
are off. Yeah. Like
Okay.
like full on legal name change.
You get
always
one change your name.
You get one
So-
free one.
Anybody
Yeah,
can do that.
exactly. You get one free one, and then after that, you have to pay 800 Microsoft points.
Yeah.
And then
At
you know,
least competitors, like athletes and stuff, should have to change their name to be like
yeah.
like American Gladiator-esque.
Cobra.
I mean, there aren't any legal issues around using a stage name, right?
No, I mean you
Tons of
would have
actors
to you would have to use like an FKA, formerly known as, or you know, there's like there's business stuff there's paperwork you have to file.
Oh, there is?
to
Okay.
incorporate a business around your name and all that other
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
I was reading the story where they doxed Angeline about this, and anyway, whatever. That's not important. Yeah, I think that people should be able to freely like it should be like that's how society should work. Like, okay,
if I'm-
you've had your youth, you've come up under your parents, they named you this thing. you like it or you want to go with something else? You got anything else? You come up with anything good? And then just literally just go like, okay, my legal name is a string of fucking bullshit.
People will totally write in about this next week, but I think I feel like I read that's more or less how England handles things, or they're much less stuffy about like a legal name,
yeah,
like
legal
the
name,
idea of
yeah.
a legal name. Like it's a lot easier to change your. I don't know. I would like to hear from people about that.
Also with the gamer tag thing, like this is a very Western view on this, but it's a lot easier for me to follow a team of Chinese players if I know their gamer tags rather than their birth names. You know,
fair enough. Yeah,
it's easier for me to follow. It's
and like,
easier for me to tell
of
people
course,
about.
we as English speakers benefit from like global English hegemony there
Exactly,
all the
like
names are in English.
Victoria,
or much more
and
easy
like,
to Faith.
Seven, Bone,
Yeah.
Seven, or
yeah.
Brad, let's go to the 2024 Olympics.
Okay,
if there's esports.
Let's do it. I'm in. Let's go to Paris.
All right.
I just pulled up a story about this. There's no indication like what games they could be thinking about. That's like super tentative right now.
Street Fighter.
yeah.
Says the co-president of
I feel like it would be Street Fighter and MOBA.
Yeah, that probably sounds right. Co-president of the Paris Olympic Bid Committee says that he will hold talks between esports representatives and the IOC about
Esports representatives.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Like that,
A walking Red Bull can.
right?
They should just play. Like,
Yeah, I represent esports.
They should just play like Madden.
Yeah, I yelled into this glowing keyboard. That represents esports.
They play Mario in the Olympic.
Yeah,
Mario and
like
Sonic
what
at
if
the
it was just,
Olympic
yeah,
Games.
it was just like, oh, what games you decide to play? Summer games for the Commodore 64,
NHL.
NHL
14.
14. Yeah,
Yeah.
and World Games for the Commodore 64 because it had bull riding. We
Yeah.
thought that would be fun.
I mean, maybe it's CNC.
How
They
mad
do
Yeah,
would you
CNC
be?
surfing?
but just the surfing, not the fucking street skating.
They do surfing, probably, maybe. Here's a short question from Patty. So Jeff, how's the new internet deal working out?
Fucking fuck, man. My internet died in the middle of our stream yesterday.
Yeah.
Comcast really
Sucks.
sucks.
They suck and blow simultaneously.
Yeah, it's a real shit show with that stuff. Anyway, I don't know. Like it was a mess. Like I went and upgraded my service, which was something I could do for seemingly no dollars extra. Like it seemed like my plan had been phased out in favor of one that had 50 more megabits of speed down and like 10 more up or something. So I was like, oh well, okay, it'd be dumb for me to not do this. So I did it.
Oh God, all those companies love doing that. Like I was
Yeah.
on a Verizon plan that like I was paying $30 more a month than I needed to for a worse plan.
Right.
Yep, same.
Because they never tell you that hey,
Exactly,
a better
of
plan
course.
is available.
Yeah. And
Everyone out there should check your plans right now and
Yeah.
make sure.
So I did that. I ended up having to buy a new modem. And then not long after I did it, my speed started going to shit at night. Like 9 p.m. would hit, and suddenly I would have like zero upstream, like enough to load a web page, enough to say, send me a little bit of internet, and it would be able to send me a tiny chunk of internet. But if I wanted to like say, like I discovered it because I was going to run a stream. I hit go on a stream, and it was like 99% drop frames. I'm like, that seems bad, and realized that there was a problem. So I mentioned on Twitter, I said, fucking this sucks. Comcast hooking me up with the good business. And then like a minute later, of course, like the Comcast account is like, hey, you want to DM me? And so I started.
Comcast cares.
Yeah, I started going down that rabbit hole.
About your follower count.
And kind of got nowhere with it because I was like, it only happens at night. And they seemed to never acknowledge that was the case. Like it was.
They like to do the thing where they're check it right now. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's no problems
fine,
right now.
it's
Look, all the
fine.
lights are green. All 5 of
Looks
these
good.
lights are
I
green.
don't
It's
know.
good.
Anyway, I went back and forth a bunch. I went on vacation for 4 days, came back, it was still a problem. So then I re-DM'd them and said, this is still happening. And they said, well, we're going to send someone out in the morning. I'm like, all right, great. So they sent out someone who like does like the IP renew release stuff on the computer. Oh, he was a perfectly nice guy, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just like, this stuff was just like, I'm just like, dude, it's 9 a.m., so it's definitely not happening right now. Also, like, this is not going to solve the problem. And so whatever, he tried some stuff, and then I mentioned to him like, hey, it's been happening at night, like this, it's only from this time to this time. And so he got on the speakerphone with some other dude, some other technician in the area, and was like, you hear about it? And the guy's been like, yeah, I've been trying to track down noise in the lines in this node for like a week. some guy from Twitter complained with hundreds of thousands of followers or something. So I've been chasing this down. And like I'm standing right
Did
there.
you sound resentful about it?
No.
Okay.
Thankfully, no. That would have added an extra layer of the already humiliating experience to it. And so the guy, like, at one point stops and turns to me and goes, that's not you, is it?
Nope, not me.
And I was like, that's yes. It's only 100. It's not 100. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, you have escalated my service because you think that I have a mouthpiece or a
Exactly.
megaphone.
Yeah. And it was written in the notes that like this guy has a lot of followers, which was just like, man, fuck this.
That's terrible.
This sucks. Like,
Man, I'm never gonna get good internet.
That is
but
even worse.
also it led to me getting like it was this suck ass situation on both ends where it's like I never want to feel like I'm taking advantage of whatever it is I have, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. Also, their exorbitantly priced service should maybe work.
Exactly. Yeah. And whatever. Like problems out. Like everyone was nice. You know. Like no one was like a dick about it. Or anything,
I will say
like,
when I was on Comcast for years, every like technician encounter I had was extremely pleasant and like
super nice guy. The guy on the phone seemed like a whatever. It's like I'm checking it. I know it's happening at night. I don't know. I'm running it down. Like
I had a guy.
You telling me what time it starts is actually super useful. So we'll nail it.
I had a tech come out and spend an hour on my apartment building roof in the rain patching up a frayed cable up there. Like it was like, dude, like the guys on the ground doing good work.
Yeah, totally. Yes, and
They're not the ones benefiting from huge
certainly not
lobbyists pushing for.
Yeah. So anyway, that got nailed down and it seemed fine. And then a couple days ago, I started getting the notifications. So they implemented their data cap, which is like, hey, if you use more than a terabyte, we're going to start charging you $10 for every 50 gigs you go over, which sucks. Which fucking sucks. And they've got their whole thing about like, well, 90% of people don't like what? Well, fucking I don't give a shit. This is a lot of money. You have the capacity. Don't front.
Yeah.
This is all horse shit.
Yep.
Anyway, so I have to pay them the additional $50 on top of that for unlimited data. Apparently at some point, and so the thing that happens when you are close to running out of data is they literally hijack a web page on your computer. They pop a JavaScript pop-up. I'm using Google DNS.
They still do it.
And they still do it. That says you've used 80% of your data. Click here to find out more. And it's like this invasive.
Click here to pay us more.
It's this very like invasive thing of just like, ugh, like you feel like you're being watched. It's a terrible experience.
Yeah.
So I gave them their blood money because like the internet is a thing. I need it. I need it fast. I need it a lot.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. So that's the price I have to pay because of where I live. There's no better option at that speed. This is the situation. There's literally nothing I could do short of become a fucking farmer and ban the internet from my domain completely, which actually is looking increasingly
for
good.
A grand total of what, a month? I'm afraid to ask.
So it was $150. But I think it might actually be $200 because I think I was paying $150 on my old plan, and they were like, "Your new plan's $150," and I was like, "Cool." But then, as a result of me changing plans, it seemed like they wiped away the unlimited data, so I started getting these pop-ups again, and then getting that taken care of ended up being multiple hours yesterday of going like, "Hey, I was already paying you for this, and now you're saying you're charging me more money." And so now it looks like I'm paying $200 a month for $250 down, $30 up.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah, it's not great. It's very fast when it works, and it's been working. So on top of that,
my parents actually just called me last week asking about upgrading their service, and like if it makes you feel any better, like their options are fucking way worse.
Oh yeah, I know. Like obviously, like there are people in plenty of other parts of the world, civilized and
I don't even
have fucking that can't get that much speed for way more money, and obviously like internet service is a fucked up situation, and depending on where you live determines what they're willing to charge you and all this other stuff. There's no,
it's a bummer.
But we still rank like. What? Not even in the top 20 for
like broadband penetration or whatever.
I know it's not good. I don't know exactly what the number is.
It's a big country.
I mean, there are obviously geographical considerations, but
so whatever. It's good that I can get that because I need that. So like the price sucks, but whatever. Like it's comes to the territory. It's kind of out of my hands at this point. So anyway, those pop-ups start happening while we're playing Battlegrounds. And I learned that the front end UI of Battlegrounds is a web page.
This was my favorite part of this whole ordeal
because it just popped up. I still have a recording of it that I'll take a screenshot
That's
of.
amazing.
Of like, it's the Battlegrounds UI, and then you see the URL say loading in the corner, and then it pops up this full screen.
Yeah.
But you still see some of the Battlegrounds 3D, like
And you
polygon
still hear
stuff
the,
behind
like,
it. Yeah.
To be clear, this is the screen with your character model standing in the middle of it, right?
So it's before the character model appears.
Okay.
So you just see the background.
Yeah.
And then the front thing on front of it just says like, you need to click here to close this. You're out of data. We tried. It says we tried to send you an email, but we tried to contact you about your data, but couldn't. You check your email. Click here to close this, and the click here to close this didn't work. So it wasn't like I could click it and have the rest of Battlegrounds load in. I literally could not get into the game because of this thing. So then the kicker on top of all of this is that I call up multiple times over the course of a few hours to say like, or over the course of a day, like I called the day before because it said like, you have 90% left. I'm like, that's fucked up. And then yesterday was the, you're out of data, we're charging you more money, pop-ups. And so I had to call up again to be like, I called yesterday and they said this would be handled. So what's good? What's happening here? And they were like, what? So eventually, whatever, I think it got handled and they're like, we're going to charge you. I said, fucking fine. Yeah. Okay. And then my internet went out like 10 minutes after that. So I went back to playing the game, got back in, and then boom, internet outage full on. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they have to reset some part of my service as part of this change. So I get on the phone again because it's out now for 10 minutes or more. I'm like, okay, well, I power cycled everything I could power cycle. So I call up, get escalated twice, talk to 2 different people. Again, everyone in every step of the chain, perfectly nice. Like, no, whatever. I'm not like yelling at anybody because I'm not a fucking lunatic. It's just internet service. Personal internet service. If I was paying for a business tier, I'd probably be a little more like, this is my business, blah, 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 like whatever. But I'm not, I try not to be a dirtbag. Maybe I am. And then I get to someone like 9 steps up the escalation ladder who is like willing to joke around in a way that says like, I know a lot about the internet and I know that you are not a moron as well. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? So this is so I read out the full, what I just told you, I told this last guy and he's like, okay, I'm looking up here. Did anyone at any step of this chain say that there was going to be an unplanned outage in your area? I was like, no. He said, well, there is.
Nice.
When starting now. I was like, great. And he said, it should be up by 6. If it's not up by 6, give us a call. I'm like, cool. All right. So I guess it's just the whole. So yeah, just like comedy, just like coincidence of comedy of errors, whatever. Of like, oh, in the middle of all this other bullshit, the whole area went down.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going like, well, clearly this is because of this, this, and this. And it's like, no, there was just a fucking outage.
I always try to seed those interactions with people like that right up front. Just like throw some jargon in there so they know that they can talk to me for real.
Yeah.
So like, I'd power cycle my router, but it's still not pulling an IP address. Like, stuff like that. Like, then they're like, okay, I can actually.
And
talk
I imagine
to you.
there are probably technicians out there like listening that are just like, that doesn't fucking work. We have a script. We're forced to use the script because they listen to our calls.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I eventually got up the chain, that guy was the most helpful. So that's my internet. I don't know. Like I wish I could move to sonic.net. If they offered the fast speed in my area, I would jump in a heartbeat. Because it's a more affordable, like it's a more reasonable service run by, as far as I can tell, some really good people.
Yeah. It's the cheapest internet I've ever had.
Yeah.
And that goes back 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
I used them back when DSL was all the rage.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's in my particular neighborhood right now. That's still like the fastest they offer is like a AT&T Uverse equivalent.
It's incredible when you treat your customers with like dignity and respect and like make them feel valued. Like they practically want to do your marketing for you. Like I want to go out and tell people how great my ISP is because I feel awesome.
They were
about
always fantastic back in the day when I was there.
Yeah.
I just had to move off of there because it used to be like a dial-up service, and I ran up $300 a month in long distance charges calling because their closest access number was still not a local number for me, and I had to move away. And then when I moved, I got back with them for DSL, and then when I moved, I think I kept it, and then at some point it was just like I just need more speed. and had to move away from them. But they do gigabit stuff in more and more places. So
they do in my area.
I'm hoping that
they came by and they threw a taco party. With
they
shit.
have like regular like barbecues and like coffee shop meetups and all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, like they were local, and the other local ISP up they're up from near where Ben and I are from, and there was another ISP that I had to switch to that had a Petaluma number. And it was WCO, West Coast Online.
Wow.
I was like, yeah,
that's pretty
right. Throwing up a W across the entirety of the internet. And then they eventually got bought by, I'm sure that now they are just Comcast. I think that they, through acquisitions and stuff like that. But Sonic held firm.
Yeah.
So Sonic Mania lives on.
My one interaction with Sonic was very positive. It was them calling me saying, "Hi, we're here to install your internet, but it looks like your house burned down."
Wow.
And I was
had
like,
you ordered it?
I had ordered it and forgotten. And they'll be like, they were like, "Okay, we'll be out in 4 weeks."
Was it the gigabit?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
And I was
That's
like,
tragic.
can I cancel that? And they're like, "Yeah, no problem."
I say without hyperbole, that might be the worst part of that whole situation. I am actually hyperbolizing.
Yeah.
They're pretty great. Like they will message you about your privacy stuff. Like they apparently delete all browsing records after 2 weeks.
They
like,
came out hard.
They're super like they do a fair amount of like advocacy for privacy. And
that
consumer
stuff,
protection
that stuff seems really important. And like
I also wish they had gigabit at my house.
Yeah, I mean, even something that was comparable to my, like if they offered the same speed and price as Comcast in my area, I would switch immediately because I
I
believe in their product.
Feel good, like, totally.
One time my DSL modem blew up on like a weekend, and they're like, just come to the office.
Yeah,
and I went and knocked on a back door, and a dude leaned out and went, "Hey, what's up, man? Oh, you're the dude about the modem here." And then gave me another DSL modem. And I was like, peace. And I like took it, hooked it up, and it worked. And I was like, awesome.
The day the installer came out to do my gigabit last fall, they were repaving my street. It just happened to be the same day. And he was like, holy shit. Like, I just talked to all these construction guys, and I've got like 2 hours to do this before they're going to force everybody off the street.
Whoa.
Like, and if we don't get it done today, it's going to be like 4 months till I can come back.
Wow.
So let's do this.
All right, yeah.
and he did everything he could, like maneuvering around these guys and got it all done.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, man, makes you feel good.
And tacos.
Yeah,
also,
taco party goes a long
I
way.
should go to one of their barbecues.
No, they came to me, man.
Wow.
They came to our building.
Jeez, man. Let's see. Julio from Talcahuano, Chile,
Okay.
has a question about Super Nintendo carts. How come some SNES carts have that belly and others don't? What's the difference? I don't remember any other cart systems having an external difference in their cartridges. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
Well, there was like some that had like just the notch that the tab would go into, and some that were more like
it's more it was like flat
and more
it was like
some
notch
more
and then flat all the way down,
Yeah.
and then like I feel like they all changed after a certain point into that kind of concave recessed
I think
shape.
that recessed shape I think was like it was just easier to take in and out of the system than the ones because the notch was very deliberately like boom boom and it would latch in there pretty good. So maybe there was a reason where they were like, oh, it's breaking the tab or it's breaking the console. Like they just made that adjustment.
Yeah.
Less plastic probably ends up being slightly cheaper.
Yeah.
Material costs as well.
Sure.
That's my guess.
Just fun little console minutia.
Yeah. I like the original Super Nintendo cartridges that don't go concave like that. I think they look nicer.
Yeah. Sure. I like Super Famicom carts.
That's only because they're.
They're exotic.
Yeah, I went to a retro / used game store over the weekend in my area that I'd been meaning to go to for a long time, and they had like I walked in there just going like I don't even know what they're gonna have here, and they just had like some NES. They had a little bit of everything, but it was like no TurboGrafx stuff, no. Like I was specifically like, maybe I can find some good Turbo CD games here that I don't have, or some a multi-tap and some more controllers so we can finally play some Bomberman or something. And that was apparently the rare stuff in that neck of the woods. But they had like a handful of 3DO games and stuff like that. But they had like 4 Super Famicom cartridges, and most of their prices seem to line up pretty directly with like eBay stuff from what I remember of the prices looking up later and stuff. And they had a copy of Fatal Fury Special Super Famicom, which I feel like I got for like $1 in one of those buy 100 carts for $100 and ended up with like 3 copies of that game, and it's not a rare card.
Right.
It's not necessarily a great port of that game even, but because it's exotic in that neck of the woods, they were like, it's $36 loose card. Like,
Nice.
no, what?
Jeez.
Ooh, oof. They did not have, needless to say, they did not have any Neo Geo stuff. Super nice people though. It was cool to go in there. Like I might buy some Sega CD stuff from there. There was a kid in there that was like very much like Gavin from Kids in the Hall, like just talking to the staff. She's like so. I play the Pokemon. I didn't have Wi-Fi, and then we got Wi-Fi, and I could play against other people, and it was a lot more fun. You play a lot of games. I know a lot of girls don't. I'm like, this is a great conversation, kid. Like I was just like,
so there was 8th hour in there.
it definitely like it felt like it at times. Yeah, fun times.
Yep. Visit your local shop.
Yeah.
Question from Daniel. As Giant Bomb's expert on hip hop and rap, has Jeff seen Hamilton or listened to the soundtrack, and what did he think of it?
I don't like Hamilton.
No,
not a fan. No.
So that's a yes.
I did not go see it.
Yeah,
but I have listened to it.
We're familiar with it.
I'm glad that people have finally combined rap and history, though.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Go on.
That's it.
Okay. That's all you had to say? All right. Okay. From the most esteemed hip-hop to perhaps the least, this email comes in from Todd from Hell. That's how he signed it. I just got word that Riff Raff was playing at a 250-person venue in West Virginia.
So in hell.
West Virginia isn't really a place for mainstream or viral rappers to come by unless it's hosted by West Virginia University at a college-sponsored fest.
Wouldn't call Riff Raff mainstream.
When they do, they are on the decline or at the end of their careers.
Okay.
Such as R.A. the Rugged Man playing to 20-ish people last year, Yin Yang Twins.
Take back what you said about R.A. the Rugged Man.
Yin Yang Twins headlining a terrible festival at Marshall in 2014, and so on. Jeff, as the #1 Riff Raff wiki editor, can you tell me what happened? Is the gimmick, white dudes saying some pretty ridiculous things while looking ridiculous, simply over for him and others like Stitches and Slim Jesus? Will he quit before playing dive bars in West Virginia like Hoobastank, Saliva, Drowning Pool, and others have? Keep up the good work.
Riff Raff just put an album out last week.
Okay.
I don't think it's very good.
Was it ever though?
That's a very valid question.
Was it ever good?
There was a time that I feel like it lined up in a way where like there was some production behind it that you're like, all right, Riff Raff doing his thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous in a way that I can kind of get behind. And now it seems like, I don't know. He tours. I'm sure he's a somewhat successful touring musician now. Like he can, if you see him on Instagram, he's always going somewhere and doing shows.
Spring Breakers killed his career.
Yeah, Spring Breakers really stole it from him. No.
He seemed like he was on the cusp for a while there of actually being something.
Yeah, I think if the album was better, maybe. And to be fair, like I actually thought that the album they were pushing towards was not bad. There were some good features on it. Like it was the production was all right. Like it was a good effort. And then everything after that kind of fell back into like the stuff he was doing on mixtapes, where it was just like, And at some point, like, I think his thing kind of wore a little thin.
There's only so much space for tattoos.
Yeah, maybe he just ran out of room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that just the music is not as good, and that's not helping. But he's kind of able to, like, I get the impression that he seems like a lot of guy that would play that would charge a lot of money for and get a lot of money for fraternity parties.
Yeah.
That would be like big on the college circuit that way, where he would just be playing a frat house.
So he could do quite well for himself.
Yeah, and do A-okay. I still, to be fair, it's from his Instagram that I don't think I even follow it anymore. But for a while there, like certainly seeing him play a lot of shows in a lot of weird parts of the world and people showing up to see him. So I bet he's doing fine.
Yeah.
I bet he is able to make payments on the Codeine Castle.
Right. That's all that really matters.
And live okay.
Yeah. All right. Logan from San Jose. Recently, while perched aboard the Apple bus on my commute home, I witnessed what appeared to be a 70-year-old woman driving a sleek black Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 branded Jeep Wrangler, complete with Call of Duty Elite spare tire cover. I want to understand. Please help me understand what made this possible. #blessed.
I don't know. I
Is she
wonder
in a contest or
if they like
sure
at
they-
some
they
point
sold those
dumped those
things.
on the market.
Wow.
Like they were like an edition of the same way you'd go get like an Eddie Bauer version of a fucking Bronco or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
She won a tournament. She won
Yeah. Oh.
MagFest.
Yeah, she's part of Optic. Yeah, I don't know. I saw one of those last week parked on the streets here as well.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
like around here.
Maybe it was the same one.
Maybe.
Could be.
I hope we get Chocobo taxis at PAX next month.
Did that happen?
You don't remember that?
No.
The working and quarking all through the streets.
Was that
Yeah,
a-
they had a bunch of like
that like a-
VW bugs, I think,
Like
convertibles.
Final Fantasy 15 promotion or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, they were yellow, had feathers on them and shit, and
Wait, physically, not just in the app?
physically, yeah,
That's really dumb.
real fucking Ubers or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then you could hear them for miles, quarking.
Weird.
destroy all apps.
Yeah.
That's my platform.
Except the Giant Bomb app.
Except for that one.
We have no official Giant Bomb app. There are several unofficial Giant Bomb apps that we think are probably okay.
Destroy them though.
Just to be safe.
Destroy all apps. If that's the platform, that's the platform. Except for WWE Tap Mania.
Yeah, that one can
Which-
stay.
All right, you all get to
update
save
today.
one app.
One
the
app?
rest will be destroyed. What app do you
Oh,
save?
jeez.
If I don't save it, is it destroyed on everyone else's phone too?
Well, the ones we save are safe on everyone's phones,
Okay.
but only the 4 apps that we save. I'm gonna go with Clock.
Clock?
Yeah, because it's got alarm,
Oh,
it's
that's
got
pretty good.
timer.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty useful. It's true.
Mm.
I might have said FTL right up until this weekend when I started playing FTL again and had an amazing run and died on the flagship at the end and said, I'm never playing FTL again. So not that.
I've had Solitarica on my phone for far too long.
Ooh.
They've got an expansion. You know that?
No,
It's like $1 for like 4 new decks and stuff.
I'm looking for a good phone game.
I was gonna say
Solitarica.
I was gonna say the phone app, but
Mm.
no.
Yeah, no.
What
Don't
about-
use that.
Messages.
Mm,
I try not to.
mm. What if it was just a device I kept in my pocket that would light up with a wallpaper, and then like
It has a clock.
it has a clock there outside of the clock app, like a built-in clock.
Just make a phone that you can't unlock. There's nothing behind the lock
exactly.
screen.
There's
What
no
was that?
notifications.
That's the ultimate minimalist expression
I would
of,
say
of
Binky,
mobile culture.
the fake.
Yeah, I was gonna
social
say
network.
what was that fake social network?
I
They
believe-
should just make a phone.
Uh,
The Binky phone.
Binky phone.
Like all this movement, like this renaissance of like old feature phone, like it's just a phone. Like
Yeah.
they're getting it wrong. Like it needs to be a phone with no functionality.
No, I don't know.
I guess destroy all apps is the conclusion.
Yeah.
Except Clock and Solitarica.
There you go.
No, Solitarica can go. It's not that great. It's okay.
Non-essential.
So it's no clicker.
They just
Yeah.
added Samoa Joe to the wrestling tapping game today, though. So no, destroy that one most of all.
Yep.
Honestly,
Definitely. Lyman from Queens, New York. On the Giant Bomb Plays Giant ROM 2017 video, Jeff said there's a great story behind the Steal My Sunshine music video. Can he elaborate on that?
I'd go to Google and search for the article someone wrote about an interview with the guy from Len
Okay.
about the Steal My Sunshine video.
You will not recount it here.
Len, it's in the liner notes for their second album, or I'm sorry, maybe it's their third album, one with Grand Theft Snowboard on it. Maybe that's more of an EP. But anyway, the album that came out after
I am amazed that you're able
Yeah,
to name
I'm-
anything else by Len at
I'm like in
all.
shock.
the album that came out after the album that had Steal My Sunshine on it, the liner notes for that are basically them recounting, like, we have been drunk for the last several years.
Nice.
And, like, the stories about, like, them just being fucking hammered all the time are just, like, when contrasted with that song and that video where they are driving vehicles, is something else.
I see. All right.
We wish Len the best. They put out an album, I believe it was last year, maybe the year before. That song, It's My Neighborhood, is okay.
Right. Good to know. Let's see.
Looking forward to their satellite radio station.
Yeah, see, now they have a catalog that I can get behind.
All right. Nick from Williamstown, New Jersey.
They covered Video Kills the Radio Star.
Oh.
Okay. All right, sure. I could see that.
It was a good cover.
Yeah. I've been thinking about buying a scorpion as a pet. The two species I'm most interested in are the emperor scorpion and the Asian forest scorpion, as both species grow very large, over 8 inches, and have a relatively mild amount of venom. The thing is, I'm terrified of scorpions.
What the fuck?
However, I also find them absolutely fascinating. I'd love to feed one spiders I catch around the house and scare the crap out of my friends with it.
That'd do it.
Does anyone on the Giant Bomb crew have a pet scorpion?
No.
Would anyone ever keep one as a pet, or are they too scary?
No.
Has anyone ever been stung by one?
No.
If so, how much did it hurt, and were there any lingering effects?
A lot. A ton.
I don't like to talk about it, but I have like 3 scorpions.
If you don't like scorpions, why would you?
My mom has had scorpions.
Like, really?
Yeah. By accident, though. Like I don't think she was looking for a scorpion, but kind of just one came her way, and she hung on to it.
What?
What do you do with it?
She has tarantulas and stuff.
Don't get a scorpion. Just don't do it.
Especially a big one.
Get like a lizard. If
I
you
don't
want,
like looking at scorpions. They freak me out.
They're not
man. They're
pleasant. They're not pleasant.
if you want an animal that's gonna sit in a little glass box that you can't really play with, get a lizard.
Yeah.
At least you can take it out and put it on your neck, and it won't stab you.
You could turn.
I'm sure you can get like
Yeah.
scorpions declawed or not declawed, but like
I'm not sure that works.
there's like precautions.
They're
I'm sure you
mostly
can take.
claw. Well, that may not be a good idea.
But like, come on, you can also feed lizards bugs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just get a lizard. Just get a really cool
Do you really
lizard.
Do you really feed spiders to scorpions?
Sure, you can.
Because they're both arachnids, right?
I don't.
Isn't that weird?
I can't get into the true nature of what a scorpion is on this podcast.
That's really weird to me somehow.
It's a ninja.
I've watched spiders eat other spiders all day long.
Okay,
like
all right,
tarantulas eating black widows and or black widows eating their young. And I spent a lot of time staring at spiders and going, "What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Man,
I need to get out of here."
we've had some real spider problems recently in the house, and it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, my mom had a lot of black widows and stuff, and then they would lay egg sacs, and then you have to like, well, we got to get this egg sac out of here before we have a billion black widows here.
Yeah.
So let's yank this out of here and spray it down with poison. It's just a fucking.
My dad,
I don't.
my dad didn't have indoor plumbing growing up. They had an outhouse.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
He had an unfortunate encounter with a black widow in the middle of the night in the outhouse.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
As a child.
Yikes.
Not going to go into more detail, but
And he was still able to bear children, or father children later on.
that's why
Sire
that's
children.
why I'm able to shoot webs out of my wrists.
How do you
It
shot
turns
web?
out.
All right. Okay.
So
all right.
now the story can be
Okay,
told.
well, all right.
Do we have any more emails?
Yeah. Ken from somewhere in Queens, New York.
Queens Ken.
It just occurred to me that there are quite a few Nintendo captains. Who's the best one? I've narrowed it down to
Falcon.
the major players.
Falcon. Yeah.
Captain Falcon from F-Zero and Smash Brothers. Captain Toad from the Super Mario universe.
Mm-hmm.
Captains Olimar, Alf, Brittany, or Louie from Pikmin.
Nope.
Or Kevin Keane, Captain N, the Game Master.
Ooh.
It's gotta be Falcon.
I don't know if Captain N...
It's a non-canonical
Yeah,
captain.
I don't know.
I think.
Were those 100% Nintendo characters? Simon Belmont.
No, I mean they were
Mega Man.
characters that were on Nintendo platforms.
Well, that's what I mean.
but-
I don't mean
yeah.
made by Nintendo,
Yeah,
but they were
sure.
all on the NES, right? Mega Man, Simon Belmont,
They fought Mother Brain.
Mario
at one
shit,
point.
Mother Brain. Who else was in there?
I don't
Icarus.
remember.
Who were like the lackeys?
That's right. Kid Icarus was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Eggplant Wizard like a big bad
Right.
guy?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Was Captain N bad?
I maybe
It's
was
not
a
a great
little
show.
like slightly too old for it
I
when
don't
it came
remember.
on.
I can't remember.
Because I remember watching it and going like, man, fuck this.
I remember being very excited that there was a Nintendo-based cartoon on TV. So
Yeah.
that's where my bar of quality was at.
I remember being like just being endlessly angered by it every time I caught it.
There was
like, as
no
a kid.
Mario
It was
show.
just- yeah.
No. Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
I want to go back and find the original fucking. I believe it was a CBS cartoon, but it was like there was a Donkey Kong. It was in the early '80s. It was like there was they would do a few different games, and so it was like Cubert. Yeah, and then Cubert was like this weird '50s thing where Coily wore a fucking.
They were
they
diner
were like
and shit.
greasers.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, hey, we made the characters from Cubert into fucking '50s greasers. Like
It's
what?
fucking, yeah, it was weird.
Sock hop weird shit. Just
I
like, yeah.
don't think those shows lasted like more than a season. or
No,
two.
yeah. They definitely couldn't have. That was probably like 83, 84 or
Sure.
something like that. But I always want to go back and watch that stuff and see if it was ever any good. But like that was the
I don't
first.
remember
I
liking
feel like that
those.
was the first time Mario was represented in like an American cartoon.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, it's me, Mario.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I'm an American now.
That's right.
That was the
Yep.
intro song, yeah.
That's exactly,
Yeehaw, get along, little Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly how he sounded.
Ride 'em, Yoshis.
This was pre-Luigi, man. This was like, it was a Donkey Kong.
I'm gonna
cartoon,
go
so
save
it was-
Pauline.
Yeah, it was like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and Mario and probably Pauline, and that's probably it.
Boy, I hate these friggin' barrels.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta call the union.
yeah. No mushrooms, just barrels.
What a great segue into the next email from Andrew in Maine. I'm fairly new to the show, 2 years or so, and you guys are my absolute favorite. I look forward to it every week. I binge the Game of the Year shows and even went back to 2008 and re-listened to all of those as well. I've only ever had positive things to say about the show, but please, please, no more accents from Ben. I simply cannot take it. Some things are funny because they're self-aware and whatnot. The Australian accent, I gave it a chance. After the third line, my blood was boiling. In Ben's defense, his Australian is actually a half-decent Cockney, but that's British.
What?
The Scottish
What's
on
that
the
mean?
the Scottish on the last episode literally
call
is
you?
making me take time off of work to write this email.
I think you should maybe go see a professional about that. If my funny voice is that upsetting, but
He does conclude, I hope you realize this is in good humor, though I am quite serious.
there's nothing humorous about my accent. I studied for 14 years at Oxford.
You're as serious as a thespian over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you sound when you were at Oxford?
Oh, it went a little something like this. Hey, I'm here for my first day at Oxford. I haven't learned anything yet, but I'm excited to learn about all these accents.
Hello, I'm here to teach you.
Oh, hey, great.
I'm Professor Oxford.
Where are you from? Are you?
I'm from Oxford.
Oh, so you're not doing an accent right now. This is just your normal
This is
voice.
just the way I talk naturally. Oi.
I can't wait to learn. This
We're
Oxford-
wacko for Jacko.
Boy, I'm sure I've come to the right place. I'm looking forward to the next 18 years a lot, so I can use this talent I'm learning here to be on a podcast one day and make
It's
people
time
really
to teach. All right, here we go. We're going to do American,
All right,
the most vicious of accents.
give me your best American accent.
Hello, I'm an American.
Hello, I'm from New Orleans.
Here's your diploma. Get out on the street and start making a living. Turn the grinder on the monkey crank. You're a winner.
I can't wait to eat some jambalaya.
What is that?
It's a New Orleans thing.
Good facting. I like it.
Go on.
It's worth every penny.
What was that low rumble?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we being like trash compacted
Yeah.
right now?
Like up. We decided to take this corner of the building off.
The accent police are coming. All right, let's read one more email and get out of here.
Fucking wobble based dubstep show happening outside.
Ezra from Melbourne. I assume the one in Australia. He doesn't say.
Crikey!
Have you guys ever thought about what a low-rent version of Giant Bomb from an alternate reality would look like?
You see it every day. No, I don't know what.
The Giant Bomb of the worst possible timeline. I've devised a list of names of the cast members of this shitty website in my head that I thought you'd enjoy in rough order of newest to oldest. I present to you the members of GiantMom.com. I'm going to actually go in reverse.
Giant Mom?
This sounds pretty good.
The names are pretty good. I would wonder if I should have just put these in the show notes instead of trying to read them out loud, but we'll see if I can sell it. Jeb Gershwin,
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Byron Snakeheads,
Mm.
Willie Salmonella,
Mm-hmm.
Brock Studebaker,
These are all just good names.
Hugh Scanlines,
Mm-hmm.
Alan Bravado.
I feel like you're writing like the Mad Magazine
Yeah.
version of this.
They're like pretty
Wait,
good.
Alan Bravado.
Alan Bravado,
Oh,
Alex Navarro.
oh, okay. I get it.
Yep, you get it now.
I get it now.
Kat Nori,
Mm-hmm.
Wave Rider, Matrick Glove Cake.
Yeah.
Yep. Man Diapered.
Yeah.
Probably the best one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I get that one.
Tayshawn Blaze Rider,
That's just my name.
Houston Crawler, Ken Black,
Okay.
and Gabby Hustle.
Mm.
There you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
Hugh Scanlines is probably my favorite.
Hugh
thing.
Scanlines and Man Diapered, I feel like, are really capture.
What if it was huge scandal?
really capture the essence of the individual?
Yeah.
In a pretty great way.
I feel like there was not enough like bodily references
Mm.
for it to be truly Mad Magazine. It would have to be like Puke Studebaker.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of verging on Garbage Pail Kids territory at that point. I feel like
I've worked on a fake name that in case I need to like go into hiding or something.
Mhm.
It's Penback.
I like that.
it's good.
Yeah.
They'll never.
It took me
Pendleton.
it took me 18 years to come up with.
Yeah.
but
Pendleton back.
Pendleton for long.
They'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
It's smart and subtle. All right, that's it for emails. Thanks for listening to these emails.
Anytime.
I know it's just everyone's favorite part of the show.
It's a good time.
It's my favorite part of the show.
People get in touch with us, and
Yes,
we
they do.
communicate with them. That's
They do.
some of the most valuable work we could do.
We should start seeding the emails.
Yeah?
I've never really thought how this would work.
Do you
but
mean like we should
prompting?
start writing fake emails?
That's quite what I meant.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, we asked
Although I
people to
wouldn't-
send in their
if you guys-
alternatives for video games, like fancy word for video games, like films to movies.
Yeah.
That's true. There is that.
So send us those.
You got anything else? We should start throwing out some homework assignments every
Yeah,
week.
send us.
I want a prompt or two.
So you want me? Your homework
I'm
is
prompting
to come
you
up with
to-
me to
yes.
come up with a prompt
I'm
for the audience.
I'm prompting you to provide a prompt.
So do we want stories from people or do we want questions
I
from
don't know.
people?
Anything and everything.
All right. We want anything and everything. That's your prompt.
Send
That's your
your
homework
emails every
assignment.
week.
Send it on in.
We
I
get
think
questions.
I want to say next week we'll have some stuff along those lines starting off as well
Yeah.
around the podcast.
Okay.
That will probably
right.
that will probably lead to some of that stuff as well.
Okay.
So-
All
I want
right.
to hear. I want
not
to
get
hear
ahead of
people's biggest regret from like gaming wise purchase. Like what video game buy or like video game accessory or something like that do you regret most
that's not bad.
purchasing?
Okay.
Strider for the Genesis.
Marvel Heroes Rise of the Imperfects for the Nintendo GameCube. Day one. And the GameStop employee said to my face, "You know this game is getting really bad reviews, right?" And I said, "I don't care. It's got Iron Man." And I beat it in like 45 minutes and was sad.
Yeah.
That is not that far off from my Strider for Genesis story, except without anyone helping me, preventing me from spending that money.
Tell me how dumb the power pad was. All right. You guys want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go play some fucking Nidhogg. Let's
Yeah,
Nidhogg.
let's play
yeah,
some Nidhogg.
yeah.
Let's go play some Sonic and some whatever.
I want to
A
go
lot
get
of-
a hot dog.
Sonic and whatever.
a lot of games out this week. Yep.
Hot dog it up.
Yep. It's the best game this week. All right. It's been a podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.